What up, y'all? From around the world, from the Milky Way galaxy to the Wilky Way galaxy, we are saying hello. Yeah, this is definitely Amanda Bynes. What up, Gunslinger? What up, Morgan? What y'all getting into? What y'all getting into today? It is Friday. I repeat, it is Friday. It is a day for joy, a day to twist and shout, jump for excitement. You know what I mean? That's if you work, you know this is the time off. If you Amanda Bynes, it's time to eat some kind of snack of some sort. Down. I am the one who knows what I know. I've been having some somewhat crazy stuff happening around these ICE protests. No Kings protesting brought no Kings. It's brought a bunch of little nanny boo-boo people. Let me show you what's happening in Ireland real quick, though. Ireland, they had a little bit of issue with one of their peaceful migrants the other day involving a 10-year-old. And, yeah, they're just acting like it's nothing. Yeah, they're not protecting the native Irish people. Here, I'm going to show you guys a clip of this real quick. We'll get into the whole Amanda Bynes thing here in a minute when I get the buddies on. I want to show you guys this.
Demonstrations broke out near Ireland's capital Dublin on Tuesday night, with as many as 2,000 protesters
I go warn you, this is very graphic.
clashing with police. They're outside the City West Hotel in Saggart, a village southwest of Dublin, being used to house asylum seekers, one of whom,
They should rename the whole state of California to that.
26-year-old African man, was charged in connection to an alleged sexual assault on a 10-year-old victim in the area. The child is said to be in state care, but had absconded during a trip to the city centre. A small group had protested on Monday night, but on Tuesday, social media and Telegram channels had escalated it to thousands. Some wearing face masks launched fireworks and threw bottles at lines of riot police protecting the building. Others even broke down nearby walls to launch bricks and mortar at their lines. Some waved Irish flags and held up placards with anti-immigrant messages. There were a number of children and young teenagers taking part. Police were drafted in from across the region with 300 officers deployed, some with riot shields and helmets.
They call them the Garda over there. Listen, they should be helping them break into the dang hotel where all these military-age men are being housed at.
Others were horse-mounted
to replace the Irish people.
They also used larger and more powerful pepper sprays, some as big as fire extinguishers, to target the rioters. One of their vans was set alight. Some of those rioting used laser pens in a bid to blind the pilot of the police helicopter and crew of a water cannon vehicle, which was making its first appearance on the streets of the Republic. 6 protesters were arrested, with more expected to be tracked down from social media footage.
And Garda Síochána had a policing operation in place for this public gathering organised by disparate groups and social media who stir up hatred and violence and encourage and entice others to get involved. I would like to commend my colleagues who are on duty tonight for their professionalism, courage and resilience.
Ireland's Prime Minister Micheál Martin paid tribute to the police's response, saying in a statement, "I strongly condemn the violent disorder that unfolded in City West in Dublin this evening. There can be no justification for the vile abuse against police or the attempted assaults and attacks on members of the force that will shock all right-thinking people." As in many European countries, demonstrations against immigrants and refugees have
They need to do this in Canada and the US, in GTA 6.
Become common in Ireland in recent years. In November 2023, protests turned to riots in Dublin after an Algerian man stabbed 3 children outside a primary school. 60 police officers were injured and 20 million euros worth of damage was caused to the city centre. Demonstrations have continued regularly, with successive governments accused of allowing too many arrivals, exacerbating the housing crisis and driving violent crime. Far-right agitators have used social media and rallies to spread a message that Ireland is full. Irish voters are set to go to the polls on Friday to elect a new president. Both candidates were taking part in a final TV debate last night and reacted to the events.
It's deeply disturbing, and I think it's time for leadership from politicians and indeed as president, but I'm not president tonight, to use our voices to show leadership and to actually analyse what's happening here and stop conflating things.
Heather Humphreys also condemned the violence. She served as a government minister for much of the past decade and
This is a silk lady. Japan right now, they have an iron lady. We're talking about her in a second. They're building up the Japanese military again.
Emphasised how reliant the country is on immigrant labour.
We need immigrants in this country. There's no question about that. We need people to work in our hospitals, to work in our care services, to work in many, many different parts of our economy. We need workers.
What are you getting into, brother?
So I agree that people should be able to come here on work permits and come here legally, and that is. But for those people who
heading to the world civil war,
shouldn't be here, who are coming here.
Then first,
I don't hear what they say.
thing with the
You heard about
umbrella
this stuff
allegedly
going on in
assaulted,
Ireland?
and as soon as
Nope.
Well,
I know
it's,
their
everything
language
is
is
all this
dying or
stuff,
some shit like that.
they're bringing it back. They are bringing it back, though. They've been bringing it back.
Amanda
lately.
Bynes, I remember that show.
Have you seen what she looks like now?
I'm pretty sure she looks like a crackhead.
Yeah, her and Noah Cyrus. I'll show you guys in a second. This is in Ireland. This is in Ireland.
Yeah. But why? What are they out there for?
2 or 3 days ago, about a week ago officially, some African immigrant guy, he had sexually assaulted a 10-year-old girl under state's custody, who was in the same little hotel that they used to help house homeless people and endangered women and
Damn.
children.
That's crazy.
And so now they've had the shit like that. Shit like this happens 2 years ago. An Algerian dude went around stabbing a bunch of kids.
So they're trying to kick them all out?
Yeah, they're basically they're saying they gotta go.
Pretty reasonable, I guess.
I would say it's not working. It's like what having them there is not working. They're not fitting in good with the Irish people.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
trying to
clearly if they're raping 10-year-old children.
Yeah, that's like their politicians are crazy over there too. They're trying to be like, oh, that's not happening. This is not the truth. This is not happening. Like
Fake news.
It's Irish people. It's Irish people doing it to other Irish people, not the immigrants. Yeah, right.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I guess good thing I don't live in Ireland.
It ain't far to this comes to the U.S. They were having
Yeah.
the National Guard. I don't know what happened. Let's try to. Let's go ahead and see. Let's see what's up. They had gas released last night.
Where? Well, who are they gassing? Where
Portland.
at? Let's go.
The
dude.
rioters.
Get on.
I'm not last night. I guess it was. Oh, here you go.
Damn.
The foul mouth.
Dude, I would be like blasting music.
You heard about the chick who was from she was on Full House, the show back in the day. She got busted up at the LA riot or protest, whatever
Damn.
they want to call it.
That's crazy.
came out here for mi gente. I'm Mexican and Russian. I came out here to represent
Yeah.
the Mexican people that can't come out here
I'm Mexican
because
and
of what
Russian.
ICE is doing to them, illegally arresting U.S. citizens, Mexicans that hold green cards. So that's what I'm out here for. They apprehended my uncle, which is a U.S. citizen. He's been sitting in ICE. So I'm out here to represent for my people.
Huh.
Interesting. Good for him, I guess.
Yeah, like, is there more to what his uncle was about?
I would only
See, I wonder
assume
what's up with
so,
the heart tattoo on her
because
face.
he didn't say he was American. He just said he was a citizen.
'Cause I'm Russian and Mexican. I was
Yeah.
like, so you're Russian and Mexican before you are an American citizen?
Who knows? That's crazy. Is that there? She is. Yeah, on the left, huh?
It's her on the left and the right.
The face tattoo. Yeah, I remember the show. That's funny.
Yeah, why does she have this face tattoo? Like, does it represent some kind of submission to sexual slavery from
I don't know.
a cult?
It looks like she has the same heart on her second or middle finger
Hmm.
on this hand over here.
All kinds of things could be thought from that. Chat, what are you guys getting into, y'all? Chris, I heard you had some shit with your.
Oh man, dude, yeah, my manager was banging my coworker and was like, "That's not the issue. That's cool. You're adult. The issue is that you're getting preferential treatment because you're banging my boss. You're banging the boss." So, okay, here's exactly what went down. Yesterday morning, this bitch is like, "I hurt my foot last night." At like 8 o'clock in the morning, she texts me. She's like, "I hurt my foot last night. I'm going to the hospital."
All right.
Like, okay. And then, so we had 3 people on the schedule: her, the dude she's fucking, and me. Okay. Now, this guy gets to not come into work and go and sit at the hospital with her for 2.5 hours, all because they're banging. Like, he's scheduled to come in 10 to 3. Why does he need to be at the hospital with you? Like, that's bullshit. If I was to just say, "Hey, get fucked, I'm not coming to work," you know, my wife hurt her foot and I'm gonna go sit at the hospital with her for 4.5 hours. And they've known each other for a week and a half.
Well, so this is all in the course of a week and a half to affect your whole
Yeah.
entire life.
Like, we started the same day, and this dude's like already gotten like raises, gotten like promotion, job title, like he's already like assistant shift leader, shit like bullshit like that.
Wow.
And well, that's all
Do
cool and
drugs
dandy,
play
you know.
any kind of
Yeah, well, it's crazy when my manager looks at me and says, "I'm gonna be right back. I'm going to the liquor store."
really? Does she come back drunk?
No, well, I seen them mixing drinks in the back of their car, but it's
So
neither
they
here
wait
nor
till
there.
they worked before they start getting their little drink on.
Oh, dude, yeah, too friendly, and it just, conflict of interest. It'd be like me working with my wife at some place,
Mm-hmm.
especially if my wife is my boss, and she's letting me miss work to be with her on, when she's not in work and shit like that. They would just leave. Dude, I would be in the store for like 2 to 3 hours by myself at a time just because they just wanted to fucking dip. Yeah, fuck that.
How would you? So you just do this shit like? People will probably be like, "Damn, it's taking forever to get my damn pizza." Damn.
Well, it's making pizza, but it's not rocket science.
Deliver it to though, but don't you have to make it, take the
No,
order?
yeah, sometimes. Yeah, dude, I would only average like 2 deliveries a day, bro, all day from like 10 to 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like they would be. It's just like it's fucking a shitty place, dude. Like the standards were all over the place. Like the night crew, when they closed, they would just leave like the dirty food and shit piled up in the sinks with like half filled sink water overnight and shit, and it's just disgusting. Like one day I went to work in the morning and all the doors were open. Like the back door was like busted wide open, fucking just like propped, and the store was just like left open all night. Yeah. Just they're cool people, but they're like bad employees. Like, I'm not shitting on them as people. I'm shitting on them as workers. Like, she was a terrible manager. Like, your boyfriend don't get special treatment just because he's your boyfriend at work. That's not how that works.
Yeah, that's what's kind of like messed up about having. I don't want to say it sounds sexist. Maybe having female leadership at work.
Well, if you're dating the help, that's when it becomes like
Yeah,
you're
you gotta
saying.
separate
If you're
it.
fucking the help,
But
it's
if a man
conflict
was
of
doing the
interest.
same thing, he'd be like, all right, just go to the hospital. I gotta stay at work.
Well, you could say that.
It's more heartless.
But then again, a man would be more likely to abuse that position to get sexual
Hell
favors.
yeah.
I think. Poor fucks, dude.
Hell yeah.
That's sad.
That is
never
very
have to do
sad.
that. Yeah,
you
no,
had to-
it's whatever, dude. It's a job. I don't live to work. Work to live, I guess.
I'm sending this shit out to all kinds of people.
Yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
No Jordanian yet.
I don't know what
Okay.
he's doing. I'm just saying, if you want to join,
Amen.
here's a
We got
link.
you.
I'm sending it out. I'm sending it out to Mac, too.
I don't know who that is.
Maccabeus, he is that one-eyed guy we talked to the other day.
Oh, that old guy. Yeah.
An older gentleman, yes.
Yeah. I remember him. Yeah, I worked pretty much all month without getting paid. Like, I started the 6th.
Are you going to get paid?
Oh, I better get paid the 28th, or I'm gonna be pissed, dude. That's crazy. That's fucking insane.
Oh, yeah, that's slavery
Yep.
in a way.
That's what I told her. I was like, at this point, I feel like a slave, dude. It's already been 3.5 weeks, and your boy is, surviving off tips.
What up, brother?
I've already looking at a couple other gigs, though.
What's up, Chris?
What's
Holger?
up, buddy?
It's Friday, yeah?
Just big chilling, man.
Chilling. He's had his life sabotaged by these.
No, not sabotaged. I made my own choices. Like, I could have stayed and, just kept my head down and kept my mouth shut and, just fucking been exploited. But, that's not no way to live. Don't live your life in exploitation. If you're getting exploited, do something about it, please. Don't live like that. Your ancestors fought and died for similar things, I'm sure.
When is the exploitation?
What is
It's all
exploitation?
No, I didn't mean to.
Like exploitation?
No, it's like, when does it become too much?
Oh yeah, dude, that's for the.
That's what I'm saying. We gotta be like, I've had enough of this. I'm done. I'll walk out of the. I feel like if I don't feel comfortable with the situation, if I'm at a party, if I'm at some place, I'll just leave, get my car, and drive
Yeah,
off and go home.
Exactly. That's exactly what I did. I didn't like crash out on nobody. I didn't scream. I was like, look, man, I'm gonna finish my shift, but it's gonna be my last one. Yes, sir. Got me fucked
That's an
up,
honor.
buddy. Yeah, dude. I don't like to be taken advantage of, knowingly at least. I mean, unknowingly, you'll never know.
I think it's like easier when you're younger to kind of make friends as well, because people are in that kind of space of their lives. So they're more willing to be social and like kind of open up. And it's always easy to kind of, move from like to have a bit of a group of people as well and introduce them to others, kind of expand upon that group and make like get-togethers and parties and stuff where you get a good amount of people. But as people get older, like just because of responsibilities, like the time that you've got to allocate towards like social shit kind of slows down. So you've got to really start valuing, you know, who you spend time with as well, and choosing that wisely. Yeah, I guess it's part of growing up, like and getting older, right?
Amen. Yeah, I definitely don't hang out with nowhere near as many people as I used to.
I like hanging out with my son. I don't, you know, versus going to a party. You know what I'm saying? I like hanging out with you guys because I don't have to leave my realm.
Oh
you know?
yeah, the safety of your home. The hermit. Is that what you are now? A mountain hermit.
Going at yes sir. I'm like Yoda, or I'm like
Yeah.
Obi-Wan when he moved to the desert. So I'm in the mountain. But he yeah, I just the idea of parties to me, it is harder as I've gotten older. I mean, I feel like it's easy for me. It's easy for me to make friends. I just don't seek them out like I used to.
Yeah.
You know, and I used to seek them out, and it was hard for me to find them. But now I don't seek them out no more. Like I have.
I think it's
Same
also
thing
down
with-
to, yeah, like trusting people, and if you need to have like a certain level of trust in people to create some sort of bond of friendship, you know. And I think that gets much more difficult the more like things happen in your life where, you know, either just people kind of end up leaving because life happens and they've got to move to different countries. Like over here, that's a big thing where a lot of people like emigrate and stuff. Yeah, it's just one of those interesting things, and people also have.
Dude,
so
are
much
you still horny, T-Bone? Sorry.
What's up, bro?
The
No,
chat.
you go, man. What's up, dude? What's up, T-Bone?
T-Bone is slightly gay, so just ignore him if he says any. He hasn't said anything.
Oh yeah,
too
I
crazy.
definitely feel that though. Like
what
it's
do you-
easier for the younger generation to get out there and make friends versus the older people, just because.
And it's easier
just
for
like
them
you
to go
say,
out
people
and.
get set in their ways.
It's easier for them to go out and do shit too because they don't have as many things holding them down. You know, they don't have they're still looking for a long-term job. They don't have families and stuff like that, or serious relationships too much most of the time.
Well, then that
Yeah.
depends on the individual as well. Because some of the younger kids are prioritizing the I'm going to work hard, and I'm not going to go out and, you know, live the traditional party life that you see a lot of the children doing. And they're choosing to have
We're
family.
talking about the dumbasses. We're not talking about the smart kids.
Well, you got to talk about the
We're
whole
not talking
picture,
about
not
we're
just
talking about the
what you like. What if we're the retards?
We are. What do you guys think? What do you think about that, Guardian? What do you think about all of this?
Like, I definitely feel like whenever I'm older, I'll have more time to be social. Like, that's when I picture my, I guess, traveling the world and my experiencing. You're fine, dude. I'll listen.
And I would say this: when you're older, hopefully it'll be cool.
Yeah, who knows, man?
I also think that the way that people have gotten older, I mean, you could look at it, right? Like a 40-year-old now compared to a 40-year-old 50 years ago, it's changed quite a lot. Like there's definitely some significant differences. People are able to obviously like age better in a lot of ways. They look like younger to a certain degree if they make if they make good life choices. It's what it really comes down to. Like not abusing alcohol consistently, because that makes you look old as shit quickly. Like if you have too much of that. Everything in moderation, obviously, right? But it's like, I just think that it's quite interesting. I think that maybe one of the contributors to that is that people have so much more access to like various amounts of foods compared to where they would like 50 to 100 years ago. And it's just interesting, I guess.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Increase the lifespan of the food. You get it more places, and then people start changing.
Yeah, dude. So, and people are much more like privy to a lot of shit because we've got the internet, right? So so much more information
readily available. All sorts of
Vitamin
stuff now.
routines, things of that nature.
People used to have to ship
supplements.
ice, man, and now you can make it in any place in the world, really.
It's a good one. It's a good point.
And now, with the food, like now it seems now we do have access to more nutrition and stuff like that, but over here, it seems like it's more expensive to get the nice food, like the high quality, with all the nutrients and stuff you need in it to grow and for kids to grow. It seems like it's more expensive to get that stuff, but it's cheaper to get frozen dinners,
The
and
trash. Yeah.
trashy kind of stuff. The stuff that's going to kind of, because I was researching your gut health being connected to your mental health. So a lot of people are pissed off and angry all the time, and they age quicker, they look older, is because their gut health is messed up.
So you know how to increase the gut health. Obviously, is like one of the best ways to do so. Because I really always find these rabbit holes quite interesting. But when it comes down to various amounts of foods, so like having variety in your food that you're eating regularly, and then also introducing like a lot of different spices and food that like your stomach's not always that used to. So not too much of the same spice consistently, because that can also be a negative. But like varying it up and having curries occasionally, like, even if it's once a week, every second week, having like a good curry, that can actually get your microbial, like your gut health essentially online again. And it's really good for you. Like, it's just to like mix it up every now and again so that you're not doing that. And I think that over there by you guys in the States, my wife and I were actually talking about this earlier, where it comes to like it's so much easier to have takeaways and stuff by you guys compared to, just general like food that you got to cook on like a pot and that type of thing.
No, yeah, it's definitely easier to get readily available food that's not as good for you.
For us, it's a luxury. Like, we have that once a month, because of budget. Like, we get to have takeaways once or twice a month, if that. And that's kind of like a big kind of, it's something that we treat the kids with, and they get excited about it. And, we have like a takeaway night or something like that. So for us, almost all the meals are from like ovens or, cooking like that. On the gas stove as well is pretty good. So yeah, like a lot of potatoes, like pastas, things like that are not really takeaway style.
And stuff that's going to make you hearty too. I feel like that's all stuff that's going to get you a little bit like more oomph to you.
You guys are getting back there though, like really quickly. Like, you guys are making, I think nationally, and because of the information that's out there, like Americans in general, like there's a lot of people in the US that are, taking it more seriously when it comes to trying to live like a healthy life where they can, and people are more aware of that type of thing. So I think it is changing, which is a really good thing. I think globally people are becoming more aware of the fact that if they want to live a good, healthy life, like it does come down to, what you're eating and like how you spend your days always. At least you're getting some exercise in every day,
Exactly. Yeah. And you can tell. I feel like you can definitely tell when somebody doesn't do shit. You can see it on them. You can almost reeks on their energy, reeks of a sadness and of a weakness that they have from just sitting around not doing shit.
I've been there, bro. I think everybody's had a stage of their life.
I was thinking, I was like, any of this, like, any bad thing I can think about for is like, somebody I'm like, yeah, get up off your ass, do shit. Like, I have also kind of, like you said, like, I have been in the, so it's not like we're not saying shit that we don't know about. You're saying shit, I'm saying shit, Chris said, we're saying shit that we've experienced and we can, talk about.
That's what I say, dude. I know laughed fucking, like, sorry for the, like, I definitely spent a lot of time, like my early 20s. So what is happening is I was teaching downhill mountain biking in the United States in Pennsylvania, and I'd go up for summer camps and be like an instructor over there. And that'd be like 4 months out of the year during the summer. And then I'd come back down here to South Africa again. And when I'd be down here, like I just got addicted to doing like the whole, I mentioned last time about MMO and World of Warcraft and whatever. Right? And like a lot of my friends over in the US were like playing like from the States, basically for like my early 20s. I was living in the States because when I was over here in South Africa, I was like spending so much time just like vegging and waiting for the next summer in the US. And then like, just kind of waiting at the moment for that. And I was playing with a lot of the friends in the US and like waking up at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then like, going to sleep, like, because in the US time, we're 6 hours ahead of you guys. So in order to do like raids and shit and like groups and whatever, yeah, it's a good time there, man. So, but it definitely does bring upon depression. And then like, you got to be active before you head out there as well. And at least do some like exercise. That's why I was doing the mountain biking. And then like for 3 or 4 years, that's what I did, bro. I spent like so many years. So obviously a month before I head over again, I'd like increase the amount of like endurance and activity that I was doing. And like I'd still at least maintain that every weekend, even like through playing, that I'd like at least get out there with the bike and stuff as well and do some like aggressive training just to keep myself like in some sort of shape, you know?
See, I agree 100% with that. And that's how I feel. It's good to do because, like you're saying, whether it be with a bike or whether it be focused weightlifting or anything like that, that's aggressive training on your body, which is something everybody needs. It'll take your mind off a lot of stuff. It'll also clear a lot of the bad stuff out of your body. Pain is weakness leaving the body. I feel as this though as well. It is important to be able to have your little hobby time, like you said, like an hour or two. Who knows? Maybe you take a day because you go a whole week of doing stuff, and you take one day to paint your arm models or to play the game. You know, but taking too much of it will deteriorate you for sure. What up, Morgan? Now, how do you find time for your hobby, like painting or your Warhammer and stuff like that?
No, but dude, like I have an extreme schedule. I have such a ridiculous schedule when it comes to like my weekly activities because I'm holding down basically 2 jobs at the moment. So I do sales in both of them. And that's one of the things why I like this type of platform is speaking to people. It's kind of like my, something that I really just thoroughly enjoy. I'm passionate about it. And because of the 2 jobs, I'm mixing in that and then mixing in like being a dad as a primary. So being a dad is like, because I got 2 little ones and then a third on the way. So like that's a lot of time requirements. And yeah, my wife and I have been together for 12 years. So a lot of the time in the evening, like it's also making sure that like we've got time to like at least chat and spend time together. And then like during the days as well, I do my fitness shit where I do like at least dedicate an hour and a half almost every day to like just spamming like exercises like calisthenics. And then I also, so like these days I don't game at all. Like I haven't been gaming for the last 5 years because like obviously that's a bit of a hardware problem as well. Like my PC has fallen out of like the whole, because these days you need like a solid gaming rig. And like for me, it doesn't matter at all. It actually suits my lifestyle better. And then I also do like the gardening shit, bro. And I've got like a whole bunch of community stuff that I'm involved in. Like I have an extremely strict schedule and I kind of have to live that way because I was like super ADD when I was younger. You can hear when I'm talking sometimes. like it's bad, bro. And yeah, just try and make sure that I've got a schedule. Also, I kind of end up being lazy if I don't stay active because the more active you are, the more energy you have for more shit, right?
Exactly, dude. And that's what I've noticed since we've moved out here onto this into the country out here on this property is that whenever I was kind of that is something that I am lacking on though. You talking about being involved in your community. I want to be involved in my community, and my mother-in-law goes to a church around here, and like a lot of my woman's family live up on the same mountain as us. So that's one thing I kind of want to work on is being tighter with the community because it's if you're just out doing stuff, you have this community garden, you have this plan of action going, you're not really going to have much time for playing video games. What up, Third Eye? Even though they do, but it's at a certain point, it's when does stuff that you actually get some kind, you get a reward, you get a physical reward from doing real stuff versus virtual reality. And it's hard to get away from that. It's a very addictive dopamine rush of defeating a boss or getting some new equipment.
I can say something that I've always lived by. Like I really believe this, and I don't know, I'm sure that you might agree with this, Chris. When it comes to like enjoying the outdoors though, like think about how far society's had to evolve for us to have the comforts that we do with technology, like the capability to play the games that we do. Like we often forget it and stuff as well because we slowly got here from like Nintendo to Sega to Sony to like Xbox to PCs. Like obviously the evolution kind of thing as well happened with gaming, and we should enjoy, and it shouldn't be something where we like don't always. I think that sometimes we're a bit heavy on ourselves when it comes to it. So the only reason for gaming myself as well is priority-wise, but I do plan and intend to get back to a bit more of that at a bit of a later stage when things work out like a bit more on the financial side. I think that around the world, everybody's got their economical struggles, right? And I get it. It's just like at the moment, I can prioritize my gardening and my food forest, and I've got just so much going on with that. And it's just really nice to be able to prioritize other things. And I think that I'm just taking this is just one of those parts in your life where I take a break from gaming, you know?
Hey, man, I've definitely been there. There's been times I was 16 hours a day sometimes. But that was before I had any responsibilities. But yeah, even 40 years ago, man, like that's not a short time. That's like half a human. They were outside playing until the streetlights went out. The only game that was out was Atari, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I say 40 years ago, but who knows? It might be a little more.
Listen, we got computers. What up, Lady Smith? No third eye. I don't use glue on my mustache. It stands erect with no help at all.
Oh, I thought it was if you meant like you like the smell of glue.
Like using it as a drug, like a chemical, whatever.
Yeah, like your favorite color Sharpie.
I do get
also-
lightheaded.
Hey,
Sorry for
dude. I remember those days.
Coleco. I mean, it's the history of video games. Whenever video games are good for kids, I feel like video games are good for like whenever you're between the ages of 10 and 21. So you have 11-year grace period to play video games.
Fun for all ages.
Fun for E for everyone, right? But I don't know. I just
Because it really depends on how the game's structured, man. Because you could make a game informative. You can make a game completely meaningless, like the banana clicker.
remember whenever we were kids and our like aunts or grandparents would get us those little video game systems, but they were like black and white dots and stuff, or it'd be Pong on a hand. Like they'd have 1,000 games, but it would be all the same game.
Well, yeah,
Those-
but then, you know, you can consider cupping a ball a game. Or like those little hoop games where it's the hoops in the water and you have to water jet them around. That's a game.
Tennis for Two is considered the first video
Tennis
game
for
created in
Two?
1958.
Damn. So 70.
And then Pong came out in 1972.
I always thought it was Pong, bro. If anybody had to ask me what the first game was, I used to think it was Pong. So tennis for two? That's very interesting.
That's what it says. I feel like Pong was probably like the first commercially successful. Like it says, it was by a physicist, William Higginbotham.
Really, dude? I would consider Tetris the first successful, like, hey guys, we're fucking here to stay video game.
See, I would say that as well. There had to have been, you know, some kind of
But Pong definitely paved the way.
you know, they had to smuggle Tetris out of the Soviet Union.
Yeah, I've seen the movie.
The guy who made it took nothing for it, basically. You know that, right? Like that as well. There's that. So the government basically took it over as their property. But at the time, like the guy who made Tetris didn't even get much for it.
That's dirty. Those dirty commie reds, like they take that money from nobody get any kind of individual money for themselves, and they just keep all the money to distribute to their leaders.
Yeah, it's the problem with socialism and communism. You eventually run out of other people's money. Right?
Yeah, and anybody that you got that's worth a damn is going to want to leave the country. You know, go to some place that they won't be persecuted. They won't have everything that they earned taken. You know? Chat, what are you guys getting into? Hanging out with Chris and Guardian. Somewhat international. Interstate as well.
Sorry, I just got cheese sticks, boys. Let's go about the stuff in my face.
I need to order me a pizza. That would be the easy thing, right? Or I could cook something. Robotron. I'm gonna look that up. Robotron. How old are you, Guardian? If you don't mind me asking.
I'll be 40 in 2 months, bro.
40? Nice. I'll be 32 next year.
Yeah.
in 6 months.
And you, Chris?
29.
All right, nice, bro. I feel super old all of a sudden.
Dude, whenever we talking to people like we talking dude, that's basically almost like the same generation, because sometimes we'll talk to people close to 70 years old and it's still all cool.
Yeah,
some
then some of my greatest friends are people within their 70s and 80s, and some of the most fit people that I know are the same area. Like I've got this couple that I know here locally, and they're main people in the Frog group, which is like a Friends of Groendaal kind of area. It's a major big hiking and caving group, and they're like in their early 80s, and they're extremely active hikers and campers, and they are like super fit. Even though I like absolutely kind of almost pedantic about my level of fitness, like they're way more fit than I am, and that's just like they really are amazingly fit in the early 80s, and I have so much props and respect for that, bro. Like, don't you know what I mean? It's just a healthy, active mind, healthy, active body, like synchronize the two, and you can live well into like your 80s, 90s. Like it's fine, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's no big.
Hey man, I hope I make it that far.
Me too. We just got to stay busy, like like those people and like any other old people we know. That you see, like all the older people I know in their 80s, they're always working, mowing lawns, doing stuff like that, messing with their garden. They're always fixing on their house. You know what I'm saying? They're always just busy. And all
learning,
the older,
learning stuff.
and learning,
like,
yeah.
When you learn, you keep your brain active, and your body follows your brain, right? So like as long as you keep learning shit, like. That's why a lot of them will like read books or like they'll educate themselves. Or these days, even with live streams and that, like they'll check on different live streams and educate themselves through that as well, because there's a lot of information sometimes, like depending on who you like watching, whatever. And oh man, Third Eye, did you see what he just mentioned? Did you check out the 3-Hour Atlas that Third Eye just mentioned there, bro? Did you look into that a little bit, Pilgrim?
I've looked into a little bit of it somewhat. They keep on saying it's going off course, and they keep on saying it's coming back on again.
Morgan, who's teaching you to meditate?
But I believe I see. There's a part of me that there's three systems of belief that I theorize into. One of them is that there is possible alien life out there that we're sitting waiting to discover faster than light travel, or be able to travel pocket space from one to another. And through Atlas is aliens coming here. My other thing that I believe possibility is that it's all a psyop too. It's like it's that the world governments are going to come together. Project Bluebeam is what it's called, and that they're going to genocide billions of their own people, saying that the mothership came and attack all of us. Somehow the world is going to unite, defeat the aliens, and at the end of the day, the survivors are going to unite under the one world government. That's one of my theories I might believe in. And the third is that they're coming here to annihilate us. If they are.
Chris, your thoughts?
Yeah, so have you seen, spoilers, I don't know if it's the newest Spider-Man movie, I don't think so, but the one with Mysterio, how it's like drones that project things, that's basically Project Bluebeam, and that's what I heard of. Ultimately, we can't leave out the possibility of wormwood, right? Like in any asteroid that comes hurling toward Earth, could we not consider it wormwood? Like, is it not potentially the biblical end of all? I like the stuff like that.
What does wormwood mean?
It's here, let me, so I'm not lying to you.
Is it cold over in South Africa? It's getting cold here.
Now we're breaking into our summer at the moment. Our spring starts on the first of spring. So like
rascal.
Yeah, so right in the beginning of September, it's like our spring, and then like it's getting to those cold months. But even our cold months stay very warm. Like we don't get ever any frost or anything like that. We don't get snow. Ever. It stays pretty temperate all year round, which is really good for like growing stuff. So we're lucky that way.
How about you, Chris? Is it cold over in Texas?
Nah, dude, I fucking wish, bro. It's probably like a strong 85 right now. Yeah, Wormwood is it's like an asteroid that here. Share the screen real quick. We can all read along together. So apparently, this dude named Tom
MySpace?
had prophesied Wormwood on several occasions in his life. Tom has had what he calls supernatural experiences in which God told him things that would take place. For instance, in 2010, Tom says God told him that Pope Benedict would resign in April 2012, which came to pass. The most recent such experience took place in early 2019. Tom awoke from a terrifying dream state, having seen a massive asteroid hurling toward Earth and hundreds of people crying out for deliverance. The asteroid plunged into the Pacific Ocean, setting off massive tsunamis, hurricanes, and tornadoes. Atmospheric annihilation, as he terms it. When he woke, he said the word Adolphus came to him as almost as if a voice had spoken it. He later found the word the name of an Egyptian dragon, meaning enemy of light. Having studied end times prophecy at length, Tom linked the message to what he read in Revelation 10:8. The third angel sounded, and a great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch, and it fell on a third of the rivers and on the springs of waters. The name of the star is called Wormwood, and a third of the waters became wormwood, and many men died from the waters because they were made bitter. Yeah, it's just a part of the end times. It's like woven into the story of the end of the world. I don't know what this is. Some guy named Tom, dude.
He was like the snake guy. He was like the knight, like chaos. He represented.
Well, I mean, the enemy of light could be Satan.
And that's another, they all kind of look
see that allegory. Yep, that's Wormwood for you. That's one of the thoughts that crosses my mind every time they talk about a big rock flying past the Earth.
We can also just hope that if it is a comet or meteorite, that it doesn't hit any other large, rocks as it flies by, because that could also cause a bit of problems. Like I definitely think that, that whole alien topic is such a rabbit hole in itself too. Like there's so many elements to it, and I just think that it's plausible. And I just don't know. Like I've gone through so much of it, and because it's such an interesting and fascinating topic in itself. Right? Like there's 3-hour atlas that's potentially coming through. And then there's the Mara Mara or something. What's the other one that was here? Amura Mura. No. But yeah, that's always just crazy. Like I definitely believe that we're not alone. I just think that the people that are capable of being here are completely capable of just concealing themselves at all times.
See, you've lost it already, Morgan. There's no right way to meditate. There's no wrong way to meditate. I'm gonna recommend you watch a guided meditation with Alan Watts and fucking go from there, pal. But I'll throw this out there and just to say it's like Schrodinger's cat. You don't know if it's alive or dead till you open the box. And we could say the same for aliens, because just on the simple premise, are we not life in space?
As far as what they tell us.
Yeah, and it would be arrogant to assume we're the only instance that this could ever happen or has happened in. So I can believe it. But to say it's not true is also not right. Because you can't reach out.
Yeah, you're right. I get that. Like that's definitely like a logical way of viewing it.
Now, what about them being interdimensional, not just interplanetary?
Well, I don't know, man. The only reference I've ever seen of like interdimensional stuff like that is always in like media and cartoons. And then like what's the Mobius strip is the only thing that I think is relevant to something like that.
We have a meditation discussion going. I don't know about meditation like that,
Well, you're conscious.
I have my own ways of meditating, I suppose.
Well, I can tell you the story about these 4 horses. Everyone wants to be the first horse. Most people are the third or the fourth horse, but it's a long story about how the first horse runs without the crack of the whip. The second horse runs just before the whip cracks. The third horse runs just before the whip makes contact, and the fourth horse runs after the whip has caused him pain. Everyone wants to be that first horse, but most people are usually that third or that fourth horse, meaning most things don't change until either it's about to be too late or it's too late and the pain has already happened. Yeah. But there's no right or wrong answers to any of the questions that they ask in those situations. I mean, can you sit in a full lotus position and, do all that kind of stuff? Do you chant sutras while you meditate? There's if you meet the Buddha, kill him.
I heard Buddha said he said not to follow just one person's path. He said you got to make your own teachings. You got to follow multiple teachings, create your own.
You don't like that's saying you can't meditate unless you sit in full lotus. But to say you must sit in full lotus is wrong. You don't have to. You're conscious now, though, are you not?
What are you up to, Mac? You got the link. But do you think it takes ego death? Because I look at old pictures of myself and I think of how I might have used to have been compared to how I am now, though, in the past few years. It is like two different people. I think it takes an ego death to truly wake up to realizing that the old you was not really you.
Yeah.
I think that you had to have some kind of ego death, I think, as well. Do you think you need that in order to achieve? Because you could meditate all day and never figure out anything, though, too, at the same time. I feel like that's like sudden realizations, and
Satori.
Life is set up certain ways. It's just the way it's called. What is it called? It's called fate. I believe that fate is just, you can change it, but it is set up in a certain way that regardless of meditations and things of this nature, you can only keep your mind straight, and meditation might go into that, but
it's called the middle way.
So there's kind of extremes of it, right? Because if you focus in and you want to try and be balanced,
you're so
it's kind of difficult, bro. Sorry, 1 second. So there's two extremes of it, obviously. The one side, the extreme of it is that to really have complete ego death and to want for nothing is a beautiful thing if you think about it in concept. But the problem is that with not wanting anything, which is the idea behind Buddhism as well, right? Relieving yourself from the desires of the earthly world and just having peace and serenity and tranquility within yourself. And I think that for the most part, what happens is if you have that extreme, it does hinder progress. So having a slight bit of that kind of, I wouldn't say ego, but self-awareness enough that you realize that progression can be a good thing, because this is the extreme of the other side, is that believing that there can be progression and that you should be driving to advance not yourself but the lives of the community around you as well. And I think that that's important. But within, again, the principle is to have balance. So I think it's that yin yang, try and attempt for consistent balance that's important.
Amen. Really, it's just living in the now is what meditation is to me.
It's like, how do you maintain that inner peace, though? You could get it, but then something really traumatic could happen, and it could revert you back to. Is it possible to revert back to an older state of being?
Of course.
So gardening is the way that I do it, either through hiking when I'm out in the wilderness, or when I'm out planting in the garden and actually just like watching plants grow, and by consistently on a daily basis just going out there and seeing like how the garden's progressing. And because we are fundamentally nature within itself and we're part and connected to everything, we are connected to plants in ways that we don't really understand truly yet. And I'll tell you something really like crazy about this, which is that plants have the capability to recognize the person that cares for them. So there's actually a chemical change, and a person can do the research behind this if they like as well to double check what I'm saying, because it's extraordinarily interesting when it comes to the fact that plants recognize when that person is within a certain distance of those plants, there's a certain reaction that actually takes place. And there's so much that we don't understand about, like obviously the mycelium through the soil and the mitochondria as well, and understanding how plants basically work on a fundamental level and how they communicate with one another through like the networks, right? And it's just like, it's such a crazy thing that once you start following and understanding like plants and their capabilities and how they react to each other and like all the benefits that we can gain from them, then and not just that, but the wilderness and the wild plants around us, so that we can sustain ourselves, you know, should things to kind of go belly up. The idea of what I'm saying really is that all that meditation and all that grace that I get in my true joyous moments are when I'm out there in the garden with like the little family that I've got as well. And we're just enjoying like the way that like certain plants are able to provide for us and that way that we give back into them. And I'll close with this quickly, which is that whole idea where humans are quote unquote a plague on the world. I don't think that at all. I think that as people are gaining more knowledge and as they're gaining like more capability to understand the environment around them, education and awareness, that basically we're capable of being like good shepherds to the planet around us if we just start caring more. And I think that people are. And if you look back through several like decades or even centuries, you see that people's whole mentality towards like nature is so much more different than what it is right now. So it's just about kind of like living in that symmetry and understanding like how we can benefit the world around us and like how we can gain that true peace and happiness through chasing the unity behind us and the natural world. And that's why gardening and hiking or mountain biking, motocross, like anything like that, even adventure motorcycles. I know I'm going on a whole rant, but I'll close with this real quick, which is that one of the best and most amazing things that I do is that before like I go to a business meeting in like a city that's along the coast, like in Southern Africa, I'll leave like 2 days before, pack my hammock, pack my painting kits as well, and then I'll head out there and then like just being absolutely serene out there completely by myself, put up my hammock next to my bike and use it as a windshield, and just being able to be like around there in nature is the truest moments where I've found like an astronomical level of like focus and just peace, I guess. So I know it's a long thing, but you get me talking about nature and I'll like go on a tangent, but I'm sorry.
No, that's good, man. That's good.
Yes, we need to be attached to nature more. They're trying to take us away from that attachment to nature, I feel like.
That shirt looks comfortable.
You know, I feel it looked like it was that silk. What is that? Satin?
That looked like a good shirt, buddy.
But
no, for sure, man. If we could come together, I'm sure we could all make the world a better place.
yeah, but it starts with the whole is people. I feel like, you know, with expansion of cities and homes, that's cutting into a lot of these natural habitats for animals. You know, and you know the forests. You know, people aren't wanting to. They're not wanting to live in the forest as a whole. I feel like anymore. But I do feel like a lot of people are waking up to it, to wanting to get out. You know, I was researching this. People used to want to go to the cities, right? They used to be like, oh, I can go to New York City, or I can go to L.A., or then go to every big city over there. You know, but now they're wanting to go to small towns. They're wanting to get a little house with no neighbors in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
But
also the most expensive houses and their uses of like natural items like the marble or the interior wood finishing everywhere, or it's like we're building these houses on the inside to look like the outside because that's what we yearn for, right, as people.
Chris, you was a contractor for a while. How's your experience with that, dude?
Dude, houses built in America are cheap to me, buddy. Like the amount of, like when I say plaster, it's not what a person from, like, let's say Germany or France or England would consider plaster. Like if I'm plastering your drywall, it's completely different to them. Like the suburban home in America is not like gonna survive your average like natural disaster. Like if a hurricane came through right now, this bitch would get ripped off. If it was built like the ones that we built around here, just because like where we are in the world, you know, and some places the weather's not a big deal in America, and some places it's a very big deal, and it's all like logistically based and shit like that.
There'll be no traces left behind, though.
Like I don't see like natural finish in a lot of the stuff I worked in, but I suburban America, you know. I'm not in the, because usually when you think of that stuff, you think of like exquisite and expensive houses, and like a log cabin to me is probably a multi-million-dollar piece of property. Like if you were to get a nice 2 acre by 2 acre piece of property with a log cabin on it, just in my like mind's eye, that's like starting price is $800K, you know. And that's insane to me.
Yeah, straight up. And it's all like, you know, I remember like 5-6 years ago, it wasn't like that. This fucking, it's insane.
No, but I see a resurgence of a yearn for like the more natural home, like the Hobbit house. Like I see a lot of people wanting to build the Hobbit house or have like a terrarian roof where there's like earth on top of your roof and shit, or like a yurt.
Homesteading in general.
Yes, exactly. Like a rustic country life where they're building the cabins and shit like that, or they're just going out there with their tiny homes and becoming part of the nature again. Getting out of suburban America. I hate suburban America, man.
How fast do you think all of that's going to change when it comes to sorry, I was just reading Sajat there for a moment. You guys are speaking about something interesting when it comes to the meditation as well. Like I like that topic. But what I wanted to bring across is the way that houses are built right now. We soon mastering like 3D printing and that as well. And if you look at the way that we're implementing more and more robotic technology into like everything that we do, right? And we've spoken about this before, but it's like the way that buildings are made and how that's going to look when it comes to like if robots are capable of replacing a lot of the handcrafted work and a lot of the slow way that we do it at the moment. I absolutely foresee like within not too long of a time where, you know, we're basically being able to program like a huge housing complex and like a whole neighborhood like from scrap, and you know robots are going to be able to build that so much faster than people do at the moment, because it's consistently improving, right? So do you think it's all going to look like, you know, London where there's a lot of buildings that are looking the same and stuff like that, or are people going to be able to have a customization option and have like, because technology is going to flip itself, like it's so close to really just changing everything, like the way that we view housing, the way that we view like traffic in the roads. Like there's just so much that we're at the forefront, and I don't mean to like really just be utopian about it, but we'll speak on a utopian level, but it's just crazy.
I'm gonna share an image.
Sure. Given the right application, and if the right people are using it, then that won't be a bad thing. You know, it could help people with transcendence. You know, it could help with that, you know, having more time to focus on leisurely activities and the arts and just self-discovery.
Yeah.
But it'd have to be some kind of assistant, like the way ChatGPT or any AI, Google AI goes right now. It's an assistant, kind of like that, but it can't be doing too much for us. But as far as it taking over the skilled work and take any of the work, really, that is kind of, I know it just had to be an experiment. You know, we don't know what it's like for everybody to just focus on raising their families and staying home and doing that. We don't know because everybody's had to struggle since humankind's existed.
But has the struggling not been getting much, much easier for people? I mean, think about what people used to have to do for labor like 100 years ago, like 200 years ago. Like what was the average job compared to how many people are working like remote jobs right now? legitimately you're just sitting in a chair, like in your office in your house or something like that, and you're working from there. Like that used to never even be comprehended as a job, and now people are earning like money through gaming. Now it's going to be GTA, the new GTA, where you can earn money and like do shit like that. Like, and I'm all for that. I think that that's such an interesting concept, you know.
It is. It's created a whole new. Concept. You know, growing up, my heroes are always people like Opie and Anthony, Patrice O'Neal. You know, talk radio and stuff like that. You know, and you would never be able to get into that stuff unless you went to their internship, went to radio college, got lucky. But now you can just like anybody can get up on the internet and start something. You know. For better or for worse, you know, you meet a lot of cool people. I don't know if I'm straying off the topic. You got to roll me back in, though, too, y'all.
I think American Favela is going to be basically the structures from Ready Player One. That's what it's going to eventually lead to when overpopulation starts, if it even is a thing. And it's not that there's too many people on the earth. There's too many people in tight-knit places. And then what that's going to lead to, in my eyes, is they're just going to start stacking fucking trailer homes on top of each other outside of these places.
It's going to be a hive city. It's going to, you know, in Warhammer, hive cities can fit like 10, 20 billion people inside of them.
Well, you know what a favela is, right? Or like,
oh, yeah, I've seen one of them in real life.
On
I was in Lima, Peru.
Yeah, the American Favela is going to be a bunch of fucking double wide stacked up on top of each other. The Tower Trailer Park.
That's what I was going to say. Possibly it could, but they want us all kind of like living in squalor. I was watching a little interview with some lady from Chicago from 1963. Like it was 6 months after they built the public housing. And a lot of these places, they used to live in shacks, ramshackle shacks connected to buildings. So everything's kind of it's an up step, you know. And will the government housing in the future be these AI ran facilities? You know, where the hospital, you know, will it have, you know, if you can have in your government housing project the hospital, the police, everything like that. The only human element are the people living there, i.e., the
patients,
really prisoners, the patients.
There's a fully autonomous McDonald's.
Yeah. I don't know. Even like, you know, it's like
I don't know if I would trust it, but then again, you know, some surgeries are already performed by robots under control of surgeons. I mean, if it's held to the same standard and it passed the same test, I would see no issue with it.
It ain't been around that long, I feel like,
Well,
what's the precedence?
People like to say in the grand scheme of things, we haven't been around that long. So, I mean, we'll see. But if it's held to the same standards, passes the same test, and, you know, the same shit, you know, it is just as good or if not better, then that's different. But now, how do you ethically test that? If I tell you it's okay for your robot to operate on me, not knowing if I'll live or die, and I die, even though I said it's okay, is it really okay? You know, it brings ethics into question. Like, at what point is volunteer human experimentation okay, even if they're agreeing to it?
No, would you be mad if the robot, the AI doctor saved your life, even though you said you don't want one to do it?
No. Because all actions you do, you want to live, right? I mean, and I'm not condoning suicide, or I'm not advocating for suicide, but there's like a parable, I think is the right word. If you think that you should die, walk out into the sea and you'll quickly find yourself fighting for your breath. And like, I mean, ultimately, I want to live, right? Like we do everything in the preservation of our life, right? Like, why do you go forward if not to live? So like, if that would be like if I woke up as a Nazi and seen a black woman saved my life, that's like the same argument to me. It's meaningless because I'm still alive. But that's just me. There's people that would be very upset about it. I'm sure. How would you feel if you woke up and was like, hey, man, this experimental thing saved your life?
I would say, I guess it would take me a while to kind of like come to terms with it, you know. I really wouldn't know what to say, honestly. Like, I would be grateful, but I would.
Right? It's
So,
complex.
yeah, I'd love to comment on this quickly, and I'll definitely say that. And this is so. If we have the option of, if we can't control something, right? If we don't have the capability at the moment to be able to do that, like if we can't control something at all, then what is the point of us fearing something that we can't control or change? What's that whole prayer of serenity thing, right? Like understanding that if there's something that's out of your control, just you really just have to know what you can and can't control. And if you really can't do anything about that specific thing, such as the advancement of AI, then what is the real purpose of actually like worrying or being fearful of something like that? So instead, my approach to it, you know, as pragmatically as I possibly can be, like when it comes to seeing it as an ally, as you're saying, I think that it comes down to understanding how many paths, like I was mentioning there as well, in the chat section, about how many paths it could take and how much it could change everything about the way that we see things at the moment. And it's why like it's such an extraordinarily interesting topic, because advancement, like in the history of humankind, we've never been like this close to something that's so powerful. It's basically magic. And if anybody really understands it from that element, like, of course, I understand that there's a lot of fear behind it, and humans themselves innately are much more concerned of change than they should be. And I think that change can sometimes be a beautiful thing. That's what Zinch believes, right? Is that change is a constant and it can be beautiful. And I think if we look around at that, rather than the whole Nurgle kind of things being, stagnation is beautiful in that way too, I guess. But it's just like, and I don't mean to make the 40K primal references, but it is actually more relevant than the person can imagine as to how things are really changing in our modern world. And it's like we have to be willing to understand that fear is not going to help us at all. It actually disables the human immune system and makes us more prone to any sort of diseases or anything that could be, you know, around us as well, and essentially makes us have more depression, which is then furthering that dip that you have into like a negative state of mind. So essentially viewing technology and AI in a positive way is the only option that we do have. And I think that because it's out of control and there are so many different people with access to so many various forms of AI, that it's so much easier for people to really understand that there is no other way past it other than just like being hopeful that it is going to provide us a utopian state where there is no more suffering for the masses and where there is justice to the people that do not have justice right now, and that people will learn to unify in a way and essentially have a mind shift in a positive way as soon as they realize how primitive we've been in our thinking a lot. And so essentially what I'm saying is that as they've, you know, installed in Nepal with a government position actually being filled with an AI already, and they're trying to experiment in different places, I think that that could actually lead to a humanity where we see where our flaws of our ways in some ways. And I know it sounds extremely strange me speaking about it in this way, and I know that the men of iron experienced it in the worst way possible. I really get that. But it's like, if we don't have that type of transition, I feel that the amount of good that AI could potentially bring and all the technology absolutely outweighs the negative. And what are we going to do about the negative? So we shouldn't fear what we can't change, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like they're trying to push out information to make us afraid of technology, to want to stagnate us and to keep us in this kind of modernist state. You know, they want us to be afraid of AI. They want us to be afraid of automation. You know, that's what they're doing back in the day. Whenever the industrial age happened, the workers were tripping out because of all that, I believe. So
yeah, and then the less you know, the more they can use that against you. And not a lot of people know the nitty gritties about AI, man. And shit, even I don't know the nitty gritties about AI.
Same here. I know nothing. There's so much out there that I don't know, that I realize that I absolutely know nothing.
I mean,
it could lead to our immortality as well in a way. Not immortal, but our digital ghosts. Y'all,
we're AI.
The digital ghosts, like this could be helping contribute to our digital after, you know, it's like they could, would it still be if, you know, it's hard to wrap my mind around it. Would we still be the same person? Let's say I was to die right now, but everything that I said up to this moment was recorded, and my emails and text messages, they put together my personality, and I got brought back just in the cyberverse.
Yeah, it
Would
should
that
have
still
slave
be
papers
me,
attached
or would
to it.
that be something different? You know what I mean? And would they be able to make AI with a human like a slave conscious? Would they enslave someone's conscious into AI? Sorry for throwing two crazy things at you guys.
Dude, it's already been done. You don't like just look up your favorite dead philosopher on YouTube, and I bet you there's AI pumping out his work or shit generalizations of shit he would say, and it might not sound like them, but it's gonna have the same mannerisms, the same speech patterns, and convey the messages just like they did when they were alive, and that's fucking scary.
Is that gonna be a revival? Let me tell you my favorite Aristotle quote real quick. He said this in 355 BC. Every man beats his meat, but very few truly defeat it.
Ah, what a wise man.
See, how the whole, it's like, what, let's just say if 3i Atlas, this is really going to be a rabbit hole question for you guys in chat too. 3i Atlas is actually a comet. Comets are wiping all life out, right? All this AI stuff, Chat GPT, everything from the past few years, COVID, all of this shit. Well, let's just say 9/11 was the beginning of it. So they started it then because they knew some shit was coming. And so it's all right. The internet, we're compiling information on people. We have access to all their text messages, all their emails, all their call logs. We have recording devices and pretty much all the technology, hypothetically, let's just say this. And AI stuff, you know, people uploading pictures, social media. This might sound crazy. 3i Atlas wipes out all life on Earth, but with the digital ghosts of the people who post on social media and things like that, there's a form of humanity lives on in that world.
I'm going to answer your question with a question, which is that I know that many faiths and cultures around the world believe in a life after this, or reincarnation, or heaven, or, you know, the thereafter, whatever the faith is that you're from. But the question that I pose to you is, if there was a capability for us to have some sort of a, you know, singularity type experience, and there's a Black Mirror episode that speaks to this perfectly as well, on the first season of them. And it's like, if we had the option of uploading our consciousness, and we were to be able to do so we would permanently be able to live in their servers, you know, with people managing them correctly, and we could live essentially for an endless amount of time in that simulation, right? And it would feel just like this, and you could have the same feelings, the same emotions, like you would genuinely be living in a world much more similar to this than you could imagine, right? And would you be willing to do that and sacrifice like the capability of, you know, going to a place after this? And that's an extraordinarily like interesting question within itself. Like, what is your guys' opinions on that?
Nah, I wouldn't go.
What's forever? Is the afterlife forever, or is that
No.
the cyber world forever?
Do you believe science? Well, that cyber world is only lasting about 30 years after humanity goes off the chart. To touch your question real quick, Jerry, I give it until the power goes out, and then that digital ghost is gone forever. And then for Guardian, if you believe in science says that matter cannot be created nor destroyed. It only changes states. Aren't we matter? Like, wouldn't my consciousness be considered matter? Like, wouldn't me as my whole be considered matter? So it might not be as everyone knows, but we're just gonna change state, and what that means I can't tell you, but I believe that there's something after death, because we can't be destroyed, right? It's just gonna change state, and I think that goes the same for your consciousness.
You do make a good point with that too, because the term, like when you call something nothing, that's still labeled nothing. It's impossible for, because what is it, oblivion, where you just don't exist, and it's eternal blankness. That's still something we label, and that's something that we can So it's something that exists. So non-existence exists by reality of us knowing that non-existence exists. So non-existence cannot exist by definition of it, meaning that it don't exist. But
if it's like life on Earth like it is now, man, I wouldn't want to live like that forever. Not that my life is like completely terrible or anything, but you know, this is.
It's got to be something greater. The Elysium fields, you know, for people that really do great things. Heaven, you know, the choirs.
Have y'all ever seen Love, Death, and Robots?
Love it. Every episode.
Beyond Aquila's Rift basically sums this up perfectly. This dude gets like, it's pretty much the Matrix. He's kept alive by like this weird space bug. It's like a spider in space, and it just has a hive of people. It's accessed their memories and determined what they would consider the perfect life, and it lets them live it as it feeds off their body's nutrients and stuff like that till they eventually die. And there's just one guy who notices the discrepancies and is like, let me see what it's really like. And the spider shows him, and he chooses to go back into the simulation instead of die. So it's really we all just want to go on living, man. And even after death, don't you think you'd still want to go on? Like, we think about it all the time. For millennia, people have believed that there's something after death. There's been crusades and all sorts of atrocities because of it, you know?
I could be argued the crusades were because of damn.
Well, if there was no promise of heaven, why would you go?
Well, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
They want to go fight.
Yeah.
I lost track. My bad.
Yeah, I started rambling a little bit. That's okay. I'm passionate about the things I speak of. I'll talk to you forever. I'll make your ears bleed.
Yeah, it's part of the reason. It's one of the reasons why, and just the enjoyment of conversation, why I am around these parts with you guys as well of the internet, is because the conversations are allowed to be where they go, you know. And I think that you learn a lot that way, not only from other people, but you also learn like your own thoughts on topics when the conversation is sometimes allowed to like just flow naturally.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, this is like it'd be if we were all hanging out IRL. You know what I'm saying? We're all like chilling, like out at dinner or some shit, or drinking, or just like some shit like that, like doing some kind of activity. It would be the same way. Now, I feel as if, and I tell you, Hutch is pretty much the same person in real life as he is on here. Chris is. I know
I'm looking at the back of a $2 bill.
But I know he is. So.
If you've never seen a $2 bill, it's got like the meeting where they signed the Declaration of Independence, and if everyone's there, but there's only one guy wearing a hat, and I want to know who this guy is and why he's the only one wearing a hat. If it's like symbolism for he did something special in his life, or who he is, because we should know who this guy is. He's on the back of the $2 bill, right?
I'm looking that up. Why I'm looking that up? Guy wearing hat on back of $2 bill. I'm asking this: what if can AI meditate? Could AI get self-enlightenment? If AI was technically?
I'm gonna say no. I don't.
If it's technically like a living being, if it's technically a consciousness, could it not obtain enlightenment?
Well,
were men not created?
Absolutely underneath believes that it could. Go ahead, Chris.
I just, the thing for that I discredit myself wholeheartedly on my knowledge of anything enlightenment when I say this, anything about the true inner self. But, the second you realize you're enlightened, you're no longer enlightened, right?
Because you're like,
because in that instance, you disconnect from the enlightenment and you realize it.
So can you highlight? I think that's a good point as well, Chris. It's just that I think there's various levels of enlightenment as well. Yes, of course.
No, yes.
Yeah.
But it's.
And can you highlight? Pilgrim, can you just highlight? I apologize for interrupting. Can you highlight Third Eye's last comment that he made And that's actually like very interesting, like kind of.
I'm gonna be right back.
Well, yeah, and then go ahead, Chris, before we touch on that.
Oh, I read that and my mind just instantly went to one thing, and I'm just gonna say it. So I've heard in dreams that your brain can't produce a face, and like I believe like some of the strangers and the people we've seen in our dreams that are like, man, I didn't know that guy. Who was just people you've seen in passing that were attractive to you, or that you would have seen yourself being able to relate to, and that's why those weird strangers appear in your dreams.
And it feels so like obviously lucid as well. Like dreams feel extremely, and it's a discussion that I have like pretty often when it comes to this topic, when it does come up. But like if you think about some of the places that you go in like dreams as well, like how they feel so extraordinarily real, and like it's almost like there's like some dreams will just stick with you as well. Like if you look back, and like it's just if you look far back enough, you start to realize like that there's certain significant dreams, and it really does feel like some of them are so much more vivid than real life, right? And that's like the whole thing with what Third Eye is bringing up there. It's stating that I dream of people I've never met in my life. I believe it's the mind refusing to forget a past life. It's such an interesting thing of why we dream. Like it really is.
Yeah, I know. Like, I believe Abraham Lincoln used to believe that like your dreams had like real world application as well. Like they could be applied to leadership and stuff like that, or that some of them could even be a premonition, so to say. Like, but in my personal experience, man, I just assume it's from smoking pot. They say if you smoke a lot of weed, it affects your dreaming and stuff like that. To say I don't have dreams wouldn't be right. But when I do dream, they're few and far between, and it's always like fucking crazy. But there's always this one dream I've had for, I wouldn't say reoccurring nightmarish type dream, but it makes its rounds, you know what I'm saying? And I'm in this alleyway, dude, just walking home from after a haircut, and then I get fucking like shot and stabbed behind this dumpster. And I've had that dream or something like situationally similar for God, probably 10 years now. And I always get skitzed out when I'm like walking down back alley streets and stuff like that, because it makes me think like, hey, you fucking high alert, we've been here before. And I think it holds weight that your dreams could apply to real world. There's meaning behind it. Your mind does just conjure up bullshit, I guess.
When last did you have a detox from smoking for like about 2 months?
Dude, buddy, for about 2 months, I would probably say 3 years ago.
Like when you have your next break, if you are like a medium to heavy smoker, what'll absolutely happen is when you do have a break from smoking, like you'll experience a flood of dreams that will seem extremely lucid.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and then you'll also struggle to when you're sleeping in the evening. Sometimes like you'll actually sweat like an extreme amount, sweat so much, and then like almost sleeping becomes difficult. Like your appetite will change. Like you obviously go through like so many different changes because of like of a medium to heavy user, like what it really does. And then that's when like dreams come back with like such a revenge, almost like they. And then when you have nightmares underneath the same premise, like nightmares are also just yeah, exactly.
No, I've heard that a lot, and yeah, that's definitely something I'm not too worried about. I don't see myself stopping smoking, man. To be honest, I can understand like a tolerance break, but I've never really struggled for it to work, and I'm not like the perfect picture of health, but I like to think a fit, capable young man. So like if anything, I would see myself stop smoke cigarettes before the ganja, man. That's for sure.
That's so much better. Like cigarettes are obviously like, yeah, the cigarettes are definitely. I mean, I'm not judgmental of anybody. Like I really like think that's important.
Feel free.
No, like for real. Like I'm an occasional cigarette smoker again, and I gave up for a while, and it was really good. And I need to get back to that, to like giving up again. But it's just like there's not for smoking, there's a meditative kind of experience that a person can go through, and certain people use it to be able to cope with certain things throughout their youth or throughout their life. And just with the modern world and how crazy things get, like just to slow down everything for a while, like it makes complete sense why people would smoke. And it's actually legal in South Africa, like our whole country, like it's legal to smoke like at home, in the privacy at home and stuff.
Some marijuana or tobacco?
Yeah, both.
Yeah,
Well, bit of both.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, so it's something that there's obviously been a lot of research, and there's a lot of science that's come out that's just proved how there are definite benefits. But it's that like whole moderation thing. I just think that it's so much superior to like if you're going to smoke compared to drinking, for example. Like absolutely, drinking has got so many negatives to it. And I'm not saying like don't have like the occasional drink with like a friend or whatever, but man, like the amount of damage that alcohol causes, like to the person's life and like to the people around you, and yeah, it's crazy.
What a wonderful world, man.
Yeah, I need to give up cigarettes again. I'm thinking for my 40th birthday, it's a gift to myself to just kind of stop with the cigarettes again for a good amount of time.
The vapes are good, dude. But I honestly, I've been vaping for about a year. I'm not promoting it. People shouldn't do anything like that. But the cigarette shit, though, I smoked for 11 years. I cannot quit. The vape helped me, but I'm not coughing. I'm feeling like shit like how I used to. But the thing with the weed is, though, as far as that goes, it helps me with my Crohn's disease. I've been in a car accident. I've been hitting the head with a guitar. I've gone through a couple of little traumatic things, and it helps me out with all that stuff versus having to take any kind of like
your boy's fucked up
pharmaceuticals and stuff of that nature. But it can be abused. I feel like people shouldn't smoke weed till they're 28 or 25, maybe 30.
Yeah, there's proof. Obviously, like we're all familiar with the Joe Rogan podcasts and some of the conversations that they've had around there, like on the same topic. And I think it's good to be open to like different platforms. And obviously with Joe Rogan's like people that he's had on the podcast, there's just so much diverse conversations that have happened there. But like on the topic of that as well, like just not smoking through your teen years is, I guess, pretty important when it comes, at least not heavy smoking through your teen years. And like so many people do, and that's obviously one of the developing parts of where like your prefrontal cortex is being developed. So you kind of want to like just, if you do smoke from maybe like your 20s, whatever, if it is something that you do. But yeah, it's just I don't know, to each their own kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, going back, I wouldn't smoke them, but I can't go back, so I'll just get agitated whenever I decide to stop. But they say
my mom,
suddenly, you got to take them out suddenly.
With the cigarettes?
Yes, dude. That's the only way to throw them out cold turkey.
She was so upset when she found me smoking cigarettes when I was 15.
Man, I used to get them from them. They used to give them to me, dude. Little kid.
That's how my dad and aunt would do.
Years old, they would just let me have a cigarette right out the pack, dude. I was fucked up, little kid, man.
Well, there's a lot of that, there's a lot of truth to the fact that our stories behind us make us who we are, and like certain experiences and that as well shape us like in our personalities. So like, even though there are things that are negative, like we can, I know that you this already, you use it for the positive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some people don't, though.
They let it hold them back. They're like, oh, this happened to me, and this is terrible. Instead of being like, yeah, this happened to me. That was funny. Or, looking back at it, I can laugh now. But when it happened, it was bad. But people let too much stuff hold them back, I think. They just live too much in what holds them back.
Amen. Everyone wants to let go of all these things. But first, just remember you need to learn how to swim.
They don't want to learn, though. They think they can just skip past the learning process and wake up and know how to. People think they'll wake up with muscles. They'll think that they'll wake up learning how to play guitar. You know what I'm saying? They think they'll wake up knowing how to talk to people or how to be funny. They think, people don't just wake up like having talent. They learn. It takes practice. It takes learning. You're not gonna wake up and paint the Mona Lisa or paint a White Dwarf standard miniature. It's going to take time practicing. What up, G Manana? But too many people expect it too quick, and that's what I feel like with video games too. That I do love video games, but I feel like video games have spoiled us to thinking we're gonna get a quick, just a quick satisfaction from something. You know, everybody wants the muscles, but nobody wants to work for it. Everybody wants to play the song, but nobody wants to learn how to play guitar. Like they want to be like Jimi Hendrix, but they've never picked up a guitar before. T-Bone keeps on coming in and then saying that he's going to come back.
Good to see you, Gemma. Welcome.
Yeah, but it's hard, not, you know. I feel like you got to go through traumatic. So you got to be. It's people. You got to be pushed out sometimes. You got to be pushed through shit. I feel like me. You know, I'm grateful for all the bad shit I went through. You know, it could have been worse. It could have been better. But I would not be the same person I am without all that shit I went through. And, you know, I feel like, you know, the next person could have had it worse, you know, too. And they also didn't let her it back. But somebody would, you know, just how, like we've been saying, this the perspective and how we let it hold us back or define us.
So what they do to young apple trees, obviously within the gardening, I'm always finding out more like things about gardening and I love it. But basically what they do to young apple trees is they'll shake the young apple trees. And what it does is encourage like the stem and the trunk growth as well. And also makes the tree a lot stronger. So it's that whole thing of the philosophy behind it, right? Where like in our youth, we sometimes go through like crazy situations. And I think that it's people that have those scars that eventually like can, you know, grow from them. And it's the same thing when it comes to like the same thing as exercise, where like you basically tear and you break muscle to build it. That's where you like get that pain and that's where you experience that growth as well. It's just like it's so crazy like that it's such a strong you know analogy to basically becoming stronger and having adversity when you're younger and allowing it to kind of propel you to like be a person that you can actually be like proud of and comfortable with. And that's the whole thing. Like I think that the most incredible thing that I've learned in my years on this life is I used to like, and that's why I've said like, you know, when you're younger, you end up like lying more as well and fabricating shit and whatever. And then like when you get older, you get that like amazing experience of like actually just being a person that's true to your word and only speaking like directly from your heart and shit. And that's why like Chris, when you were saying earlier as well, like that, you know, that you don't apologize for where the conversation goes and that type of thing. I think that that's an important component to all of that too.
And now, see, and this is all, you know, this is all stuff that I feel like the topic of everything we're talking about is, even though we've been we're on the same path of self-discovery, you know, and that's pretty much because, let me see. Sorry about that. I had Now, how do we tap into this more? Chris, are you there? Always, exactly. There's never, and I was thinking about this back. The people, a lot like we talking about the old people that we see always active, like your hiking buddies or people that we've known that worked. You know, we had grandparents that worked for a while too. Always did some, but I noticed that the older people, they're just like, they smoke and drink nonstop and they just sit around and not do shit all day. Those are the ones who are dying before they're 60.
It's because they stop working.
They look old.
You want to know my philosophy? Okay, there's studies showing that after retirement, people only live 6 to 8 years. My plan: never retire. There you go. I'll never die. I'll be immortal.
Just constantly busy, 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 busy.
Yeah.
No, you miss heat. I kind
Shitty logic, I know, but I'm just poking fun.
of with squirrel.
No, there's truth to it. The only other thing that can work against you is stagnation, and that's why, like, it is a big lesson in my life. I'm not saying this for sympathy or anything. Obviously, like it's not immediately like it just happened or whatever. But because of not having a dad when I was like much younger, like my grandfather and my uncles kind of stepped in a way to try and be, to guide me, and like. My one uncle that actually introduced me to like the whole MMO gaming and stuff as well, like in my early 20s, he actually passed away last year, and he had almost cut him, except from working, he had cut himself off from like almost social aspects as well, and he had basically just like stayed indoors a lot and played like MMOs at the age of like 50ish, around there. And like it took people like 4 or 5 days to actually realize that he wasn't really alive anymore, because the people that he was working for were the people that actually came and like recognized that, to check on his flat, and then they found him there. But because basically there was a situation where he was with this one lady, and the lady asked him, are you going to choose to be with me, or are you going to choose the game that you're playing? And he was playing World of Warcraft of all games at that time. And he said, well, there's the door, basically. And I was standing like in the passage, and I actually overheard that conversation happen. And it was just like, then him passing away last year, and he was one of the nicest people ever as well. And he was so smart. He was like one of those, he actually designed like chipboards, and he was busy working on some of them. And like he was extremely high like level when it came to like his tech and his potential. But because of that whole point of him stagnating to a degree, he allowed himself to, even though he had a job, even though he was like smart and all that, he allowed himself to deteriorate. And like, just basically he was also drinking fizzy drinks consistently, and he would have that as a diet, and he just didn't have much self-care. So like having self-care is such a super important thing. And like, that was such like a snap to me to realize that, like, even if I am being like active and stuff in my work or in my career, you need to have outside things that actually like try and push you forward and make you engage in life and make you want to have zest for life, because it might not even be that activity, but the zest for life that's keeping people around.
Oh yeah, I get it. That's what they give. You can't give up the ghost, man. I think that's how they put it in the Bible. When people die, they give up the ghost, man. You can't give up the ghost.
No, a lot of time, because people, they attach themselves too much. Like, I'd be devastated if something happened to my woman and stuff like that. But I feel like that's what happens to a lot of people too. They become attached too much, and then you've been with somebody 40, 50 years, they go, and then 2 weeks later, you go. Just lost. Because we never, like, a lot of times we never truly learn self-attachment.
Well, and then it's like the saying, some people are long dead before you bury them.
It's exactly that. Yeah.
Like Guardian said, lost that zest, man.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I knew I fucked with you, buddy. I don't know my pops neither, man. To kind of take a walk down Trauma Lane with you, dude. That's pretty cool. That's relatable, buddy.
See, I knew my dad, and
apple tree shit, bro.
I got that fucker's name too, man.
I knew my dad, and it's not all it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, I can see it, dude. Some people are just beer getter 3000, man.
Mm-hmm.
No, dude, as much as that fucking sucks, man. That's
go
life.
in there, boy.
Hey, son, get me a bear.
Yeah.
Or, and it shouldn't be that way, but it is.
Yeah, they never didn't.
But that's
kids
not
weren't
what
treated with
defines people.
respect. They weren't treated like any dignity as human beings.
That's the beauty about life. No matter where you come from, no matter what you've been through, that's not what defines you. What defines you is your actions now.
Exactly. Yeah, but I can never see myself You know, and that's what, like, all of us, we don't let none of this shit hold us back, and that's, you know, what makes us men, I believe. That's why we are men, you know, for sure. And that is not letting, what up, Teresa? Is us, is just, that I believe is manhood. Is tough stuff happens, but I don't give a fuck. I've still got to take care of what I've got to take care of. I'm going to do it with a smile on my face.
Bonjour, comment ça va?
And my mask and my T levels have raised talking to you guys.
Oh, your testosterone levels?
Sorry, Guardian. Sorry, Chris. I keep on. Y'all getting my damn T levels high.
That's okay, man. Keep talking. Keeps me from talking. The more you talk, the less I have to talk. What are y'all up to, man? What's life been like for you recently? How's the weather?
Well, it's getting cold here. I know. He said it's summer. It's starting to be summer down over there.
Yeah, dude.
Or to the west. I think that's to the west of us, I think.
East.
Or the east.
Yeah, far south as well.
Either
Yeah.
way, right.
I'll tell you guys a life hack though. Like, if there is ever any like news of any sort of major big, you know, like a fallout occurring potentially or something like that, and I might have mentioned it before, but like you want to get as far away from like the northern hemisphere as you can. Like if you look at a map and it shows you like fallout radiation distance, like look, if there's some sort of a nuclear winter, like or anything like that, it's going to affect everybody all across the world. There's no running from it, right? But I am saying if tensions are building up with different countries and stuff like that, we've got good year all around, good like weather all year round, and like there's a lot of problems here and stuff like that as well. But I'm just saying, like it's you got to like there's benefits to being this far away from all the first world countries and like living in a third world country. Is that one of the weird things? Yeah, it's just like our problems are different from your guys' problems, and I really mean that. Like we definitely we've faced different problems on a day to day, and even like within media and like with the way that some of the culture is, like first world problems don't impact us as immediately because we've got so many of the other problems. So don't get me wrong, it's pros and cons on both sides, you know. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting thought. That's like a big reason why I would want to move away from the cities, because if I just think logically, if there's a major military installation around your location, you're liable for airstrike from, you know, nuclear. If the shit pops off, you know, like I think DC's fucking gone because we don't have no defense. I know we have like the capabilities, and because we provide this for other nations, right? We provide missile defense for other nations.
Well, Houston's gone too. Houston, Pittsburgh.
Exactly. Like, and
let me ask you.
I'm a fucking hour and a half away from Houston. You know, I'm 20 minutes from.
I'm an hour and a half from
a
major
joint Air Force military army base in San Antonio. So I like to think I'm near where a fallout's going to occur.
But however, they'll just shut the grid down. With the modern technology, I think that's more of a possibility of them just like cutting off electricity to everybody. And there's more and more ways that people can do that to a whole country. And if that had to occur, something like that, there's a lot of defensive measures against it. I get that completely. I understand that. But realistically, if they were to want to invade, I don't think that they'd want to invade somewhere where there's that much mass-scale fallout, because then the land is
attack the infrastructure.
So in a place like South Africa, where there probably wouldn't be any missiles really lobbed over there, and like because I'm not aware of any maybe you would know of any Chinese or Russian like owned shit. I know that they have shit further up north in the continent there. And I'm not really too aware. Is there US owned shit there? How does that work? Is there any kind of infrastructure from any of those countries?
Like not really in that way. Like there's very little reason why they'd send anything this way. Like we're very much a small fish on the global scale. We have if you look at our military currently compared to other militaries in the world, our military is really lacking in a lot of ways too, which is actually a good thing in those terms. We're not very much a threat to anybody. Like, we're really not. So like, because of that, that actually keeps us safe in a way. That actually, you know what I mean? Like, there's no real main reason why we'd get involved in anything on a global scale. But here's the big thing, and this is the kicker, right? Which is that without the world's influence, our country would look very, very differently because of the people that are currently in power. And I'll just stop myself right there. I'll say that that's that's really what it comes down to. So we have our own, like, again, we've definitely got our own issues down here. I think that in some ways we could be independent for a while, and I hope that for, you know, the goodness of humankind would prevail, but the past repeats itself.
Amen.
Let me ask you this. I had heard that before apartheid ended that there was over 6 nuclear weapons that the government had owned. Then they had dismantled them. So that I wonder if any of that shit is still hid, if they kept any of that shit hidden, because I'm sure they're gonna be like, all right, we're getting rid of the damn nuclear weapons now. Yeah, we're just sure.
It's very interesting that you actually know that they were decommissioned. But yeah, the previous government, to the African National Congress, did decommission all of them. And since then as well, due to that, like, I could speak on it for like hours when it comes to how it kind of ended up being what it is today. In like, the rand at some points was actually greater than the dollar was. South Africa, like at certain points, was an economical like powerhouse, and then things kind of happened to the country. And I'm not going to go into all of that now at all. I'm just going to say that, like, it's just that I hope that things will get better here. That's all I'll say.
I find it interesting that for years, Mozambique, South Africa, and Rhodesia were the 3 thriving countries for all the people that lived in them for years. And to the rest of the Rhodesia, I know that's kind of controversial, but I kind of studied into them a little bit. I kind of admired those soldiers that fought. That was some hard fought shit. That was like a little Vietnam over there in Africa over there. And yeah, it was, you know, now it's kind of all gone to shit since a lot of these government changes. Mozambique and Rhodesia don't exist anymore as thing. South Africa is hanging on, but
well, it's more Rhodesia. Rhodesia became Zimbabwe, but Mozambique is still there, but it's just got a lot of problems with terrorism at the moment.
I thought Mozambique was a town. I didn't know Mozambique was a country.
The Zimbabwe don't have like compared, like Zimbabwe and shit. They like, it's like when there was Rhodesia, they had buildings, electricity, they had healthcare going on. Now
didn't they like nationalize everything?
I'm not sure. I can't speak to that.
I don't know what happened to Rhodesia.
Yeah, that whole story is such a bombshell, though. Like, because of my, because I am sometimes restricted in some ways to speak on certain topics, like from where I'm at. Like, we don't have the First Amendment and whatever, so like I have to be very, very clever and
for us, man, not for little old us, buddy.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean, though. Yeah, because like even though like it might be streaming out of here, like it's the servers and stuff like that. What up, Anthony? But yeah.
It's just that we're speaking live, right? So anything that I say can be recorded and just used against me, and I acknowledge that fully. And it's not just, and it's also that even though saying that, everything that I'm saying is exactly what I believe. It's just that it's like, it's man, like
it's a fine line.
We're talking about in GTA 6 and Minecraft, these historical events. We're not. Yeah, it is crazy. It does suck, dude. Like, I wish that you could fucking come move over here in my damn yard or some shit.
My goal is for South Africa to get a lot better, for there to be a lot less poverty over time, and therefore there to be a lot less poverty, a lot more infrastructure growth, and a lot more equality, which isn't what you think it is. Equality here right now would mean that the reversal of certain laws, which actually hold certain groups back, and you would be surprised which groups it holds back, but it does. It's a whole thing. So like, it's actually, I just want fairness for everybody, and like I really do want that, and I think that South Africa has super potential once people really do learn to live together And if you look at some of the biggest cities throughout South Africa and you look at the way that people are getting along, like it's a damn testament to like human capability to unite, irrespective of which background you're from. And like, that's a powerful thing, right? Like that's where like you start seeing, and if you go around and you look at the biggest cities like Cape Town, Johannesburg in South Africa, you see like groups of people from every single like ethnicity and background, like really working together, getting along, having a great time, not giving a shit like where they come from behind them, but like where they're going, right? And that is something that I really believe that South Africa's been through one hell of a like storm when it comes to like the social aspects. But I think in a lot of ways, it's a beautiful thing that we're actually are like making advancements. It's just that recently there have been some of the laws that are actually unfair in the country are being debated. So we could actually maybe have them removed. We can keep fairness for everybody. It's amazing.
And you don't have to go into detail about it, but I am just curious with this. Peace out, Third Eye. Is that so? They have like it's but we talking about Canada. Someone was recently in prison, 9 months prison, 2 years probation for questioning certain historical events on Facebook. Now, is it like things like that? Similar, it's anything against I'm doing it I'm skirting a lot. Anything. It's not. Is there hate speech laws? Is there is there like you can't talk bad about the vestiges of power that bind you guys, stuff like that?
Historical racial slurs or anything revolving that whatsoever, in any sort of way, in any context, in any sort of way that you are using slurs. And there's been people that have been made examples of who stepped out of line and who said things, as well that were defamatory towards groups of people. So there's a lot of that type of thing. The Human Rights Commission in South Africa has certain legislation against. Well, it's not exactly. If you had to ask 100 people from random parts of the world if they thought it was fair that you can say certain things as one group and as another group you don't dare say them, and it's like because we've got scars in the past and because we've been through some crazy stuff that it's like that, right? It's like it's really interesting if you look at it, but at the same time, like it isn't that long of a time since like. And you might say, oh, it's been 30 years since the end of apartheid, right? But like there are still people living in the older generations that saw things in this country that are absolutely heinous. And to pretend that that didn't happen is completely ignorant as well. I just think that there needs to be a certain level of fairness where if somebody was born and they are underneath 30 years old, basically at the moment, and they're born into a country being judged like because of their ethnicity or their background. And it's like, is that really fair? Should you be allowing for that type of thing to occur where it's like DEI in the States in a lot of ways? Like it's what your DEI is. We've got a
That's what I was thinking.
But but it's like an extreme level of that. And basically like that is something that I think that needs to kind of be abolished at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, because exactly y'all are together at this point, right? It's been so many years. Like it's pretty much. I feel like whatever it was before the Dutch and before the English and whatever, it's the same with the U.S. We have a situation where we're all kinds of races and people mixed together, and it started off a little bit hairy, but that's just human civilization. But we're in on it together, and it's not the people that's the problem. It's our governments that are the problem, who want to try to make it by putting these hate laws. And even that one country that we'd mentioned, they say a lot of people, like there are people that say that was a racist nation that existed in time. Like it's sad, and it does make me realize, we are very, very lucky here in the U.S. because I feel like by doing all that stuff, that's pushing people more towards maybe thinking in the direction of hate. Yes, and it is almost like there is a global. It's a global, like people, they know that we're all coming together as a human species, and they're not liking that because the elites, in my opinion, and based on what I've kind of studied and put together, that is who created this whole notion of just racism, you know, and it's crazy. They're the ones that create it, but yet, and they're also ones that put laws against talking about anything. But we don't have to talk about that no more,
So-
dude. It just sucks.
Yeah, we can end it with one of the things here, and that's what I'll say as well. Is unfortunately, Jima is 100% correct there. It's not the people, it's the leaders. That's true.
Mhm.
However, unfortunately, in certain places throughout the world, a lot of the people will mimic a certain way, like a certain kind of perspective that the leadership give. And if the leadership perpetuates certain narratives and they feed them to the media houses, which can then get carried across to the nation, like then you do find people that are more likely to have like resentment in a way from the past and from what's experienced. And then even people that are born through that are born recently that haven't experienced the same scenario, they get to relive that through the stories that are through the media, you know.
Yeah, the constant media, and it's like, and here in the U.S., like if people do crime or anything bad, they're trying to push to allow them to get away with it, you know, just for the reasons that they have for allowing that is because of it's because of their environment and how they grew up, you know, and that's what they're trying to push. Like in the states like California, a lot of our big cities, they have that where the violent offenders just in and out, you know, and I feel like it's only for certain crimes and certain criminals, you know, and it's just, you know, it's just kind of, it's like I don't know, I'm kind of getting a little.
What we can do is we can definitely change topic, like I'm happy to do so, but I'll leave this with the statement which is that absolutely like we all know that this just shouldn't even have to be said, but I feel that sometimes it does, where there's absolutely incredible people from every single ethnicity, and there's really terrible people from every ethnicity as well. Like it doesn't, and people that hold a strong bias sometimes have enough hatred inwardly that they end up hating their own kind as well. So that's all I'll say about it.
And maybe a 3-eye atlas, and maybe we need I often think, like, I want me and my people to survive, but I think that we would need some kind of global extinction event, possibly, to kind of reset it all. Like, everything needs to be set on fire, because it's like whenever Kutsu takes over a place, we're just too overgrown with bullshit.
Breaking news.
What?
2 people dead and several others injured as unidentified gunman opens up on ICE facility.
Oh, where at?
I don't know. This is from Australia news source. And somewhere in Texas. Here, I'll send you the link I got.
Send the link. What are you sending it to me on? We have shit like that going on over here, Guardian, all kinds of like crazy ass shit. I'm sure that we just have so many damn, like, they want to just allow people to come into the U.S. just walk over, don't care about their past, their history, don't care about about their knowledge or anything like that.
Yeah, like you'll be surprised how the rest of the world is watching you guys. And remember that statement. I really mean it. Like people are watching the US very closely all the time, specifically with everything that's been happening politically lately. Like with a lot of things that are happening, like it's always been a focus of the world, right? Because it is kind of a country that does kind of set the pace for a lot of other countries as well, whether people want to believe that or not, it really does. And like because of what's been happening like lately, like the hostility, like it definitely does carry over in a lot of ways. And I'm not saying hostility from like anyone in specific, but the stigmatization of people on the left and the right is growing in some ways too. And it's like it's getting to a point where you do have like obviously extremists on both sides and who are not even willing to like listen to one another. And like they're at the point where even within a family, you'll find people that just because of their political beliefs, they used to be able to sit around the dinner table and discuss them. And that's what, America used to be about. But it's like, it's getting to a point, unfortunately, in some ways. And I don't think maybe it'll change and it'll get better over time as well. But there's definitely a major polarization that's occurring. And we watch the US like a hawk. Like I really can't tell you how familiar I am with some of those like experiences that people go through, and I'm even afraid to use the SHOOTING word on a live stream because I don't want to use words like that. But yeah, there's a lot of harm that's done to a lot of people at the same time over there by you guys, and I hate that happens. I'm so sorry about that's happening within your nation at the moment, and I just hope that peace and serenity, that's what I wish for the United States.
Yeah, but it's kind of beyond that point though, dude, because we have like you said, both sides are kind of at odds with each other so much, not willing to listen to each other. So it's a constant yelling argument, and it just feels like our opponents though here, they just get on my fucking nerves, and I'm trying to break myself of the cussing habit. But yeah, I don't know. They just don't. They're not. They don't have. I heard that only I might be a psyop too, but I heard only 60% of people can have a thought in their head. They are actively thinking. They can use abstract thought. So that means 40% have abstract thoughts. That means 60% of the people you see and interact with don't have an original idea. They don't have any ability to break down a theory or a topic. And they don't want to. I was looking at that. That said that was from September 25th, Chris.
Yeah, that's what I seen too.
A Florida man, 70 years old. Here, I'll show you guys this story real quick. Florida man's been having a lot of crazy shit happening in Florida recently. But you ever heard about that, Guardian or Chris? Y'all heard about that? It's called Florida Man here. Somebody does some crazy shit, and it's usually a guy from Florida. Like Florida man wrestles alligator. This guy, 70 years old, peed on $10,000 worth of food at a Sam's Club, and then he relaxed on a store's patio furniture.
How much do you have to pee to coat $10,000 worth of stuff, dude?
He was drunk. He's probably drunk, so he's probably pissing. He's older, drunk. He's probably pissing for a good
dude, so
10
much.
minutes.
Unless it's all fancy steak.
So Patrick Francis Mitchell, 70, was arrested on June 4th and has since been charged with criminal mischief resulting over $1,000 in damages and disorderly conduct. So they reduced it by $9,000. Do you have shit like that going over there? Is there Florida man shit like that over there?
I just want to comment on that quickly and wonder if that guy used a water pistol or something. I don't mean to be crass, but that's the only way that I can see a person being able to coat that much,
Somebody caught the incident on their cell phone, showed it in court. They're not going to show us.
Yeah, it's different. It's you guys have so many more. The thing is that you guys have so many more people. So because you've got so many more people, the propensity for things like that to occur is obviously escalated. And then because you've got different type of mental disorders over there compared to here, which is actually true. If you look at the levels of mental disorders and the way that they impact society compared to here, it is very different. Because it's just this madness that occurs globally, which just in different ways. And what you guys struggle with there that I've seen a lot is some of your cities are certain cities specifically with some of the opioid and fentanyl and stuff like that. That's horrible to see for us because we don't really have that in the same way here. We have other things, but not like that.
What up, Hutch?
Buddy?
It's good to see you, bro. Welcome in, man.
Real quick, I just want to say this. It was 188 cans of Vienna sausage and 345 cans of Spam.
So none of it's even bad.
I would have been can I have all that pissed on stuff?
Well, then I would challenge that it's not even spoiled or even contaminated.
Yeah, they just threw away a bunch of shit for no reason.
They say you have rat pee on that and stuff like that too.
They probably make that shit out of people.
How's your Friday been so far, Hutch? You good?
Fuck, it's
It
Friday.
is cold as a bitch and wet everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Any snow?
No, we're not snow cold yet, but we're low 50s cold. Cold
Yeah,
makes
fuck
me a bitch. But yeah, 53 is old.
Are you going to bring in any of your trees in that from like to prevent them from frost? Do you do any of that? Were you bringing like fruit trees, like a lemon trees or something like that, in for the frost session?
There's a few that I've got a couple maple saplings in my black oak saplings that I'll just have to put like bags over them. I probably won't bring them in. I might eventually in the year, but for the most part, they're just going to get plastic over them.
I think greenhouses would be like good for that, right? Like, would that work? Like, if you had a greenhouse that you could bring some of the trees in?
Yeah.
See, I was hearing watching a video about growing stuff during the cold season, and I guess you can like pour some kind of cellophane over like small plants in a garden. Could the same theory be used on trees, where they kind of collect?
It's the greenhouse effect. It's the same thing. As long as you can keep it from the frost touching it, you can pretty much keep a lot of stuff alive through cold weather. Like tomatoes will grow down to like the 50s, shit like that. Peas, green, that shit it'll grow down like in this kind of weather. It's slow, but it'll grow. But as long as you can keep the frost off of it, you should be able to keep it alive for the most part.
Yeah, and then you also like, I'm sure that some of the trees are just much more hardy towards it, you know. I know that there's a couple of trees that actually need those frost hours every like annual period, just so that they can like, grow properly.
Yeah, with the black walnuts, it has to have a cold, I'm forgetting the fucking word, propagation for the seed to kick in and initiate, being like, oh, okay, I should probably start growing. Like cherries, the same kind of way. They need cold.
Yeah, cherries are a big one, and then I think it's pomegranates. Certain pomegranates as well also need chill hours like that, like every year.
Yeah, some things need that hella cold to make it better the next year.
Cherries would be lovely, bro. Like, it's really good food. You can make so many nice like things if you use them in baking and stuff. So you guys are lucky that you can grow them there, because they'll never grow here. Like we can grow the tree, but it'll never bloom. It'll never flower and fruit.
Really? Man.
Yeah, not enough chill hours at all, like through the whole year. Like you guys absolutely can grow them compared to us, because it just doesn't. So it becomes an important export item for you guys as well.
We have a bunch of black walnuts in our little yard over here.
Yeah, black walnuts. Everybody I know bitches about black walnuts. They want to get rid of them because they're like, oh, they just drop shit all over the yard, mess it up, do all this. I like the taste of black walnuts, especially like black walnut ice cream. It is the shit.
So much protein, dude. Like there's so much protein in them.
Let me see. Black walnut ice.
Especially since it's free, like it's already grown on the property. Yeah. I'm not killing that damn thing. I'm gonna help it expand.
Ooh, they're breaking construction. The ballroom will be built soon.
What do you think about that shit, Patch?
Monica Lewinsky ballroom. You guys see that tweet that Trump put out to Hillary Clinton?
Nah.
Nah, what was it?
She put a picture of him, the crane demolishing whatever part of the White House it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, it's not his house, it's your house, and he's tearing it up, or some shit like that, right? So Trump responds on her deal. He was like, I might name the new ballroom the Monica Lewinsky ballroom.
That's awesome.
Oh, God. He displayed the famous dress in there, too.
Dude, to be honest, that's probably the coolest thing to me about Bill Clinton. And I know that like says probably a lot about me, but I think that's pretty cool. The man got a blowjob in the Oval Office. Not me. I don't think anyone else can say that.
He probably did worse shit than that.
Every single president can say that, probably.
You think, dude? That'd be pretty cool, man.
Lincoln.
To be honest. Yeah, that's funny to think about. That man was getting blowies under the desk.
Just the thing that offends me the most about the Hillary Bill Clinton, or the Monica Bill Clinton situation, is that you're the president of America. the most powerful man on the planet. Pick this dog face bitch. You know what I mean?
I don't think I've ever seen what she looks like, dude. Let me look.
In my opinion, she wasn't that bad, but
Did you write a book, dude?
but not like
That's
not
funny.
to the level of like what a president. You know, president's like a king or a rock star in a way. But they're supposed to be like damn intelligent people, like scientists and fucking lawyers and shit that know the military strategians and shit of that nature all mixed together. But they haven't been, I think, that way since like maybe the 15th or 16th one.
I think it's good we'll have a place to host foreign nationals when they come, though.
Talking about like Maine. But no,
I mean, it just makes sense with the amount of events and parties and shit that they have at the White House. It really probably should have been built.
Yeah, just out there in the grass and shit, too. Just imagining, like, if Xi Jinping came to America and you know, got smoked because he was sitting on the grass. You know, that's not a good look for us.
yeah, and like not even political shit.
And that could very well be a reason why these people don't come.
It could just be some psycho like DC sniper or some shit like
Yeah.
that, not even knowing who it is, and just be like, oh.
Yeah, but I seriously doubt that there. The amount of I wonder what the security.
Nah, he'd be having damn fucking. He'll be having like damn ninjas and shit hiding out and shit for like. I know that's not Chinese. I know.
It's Asian. It's all the same.
It's yeah. I mean, if you studied the history of it, they left China and then went to Japan and then eventually became Japanese people.
I gotta take the family to Olive Garden.
You going up to Olive Garden?
It's my father-in-law's birthday. I'm not going. I'm just gonna drop him off, and he's gonna have dinner with his wife and like his other kids and shit like that. So they're a little toasty. So I'm gonna be DD.
Olive Garden. When you're here, you're your family.
Yeah, dude, I don't fuck with that place. I'm
want to
basic.
try some right now.
I eat plain spaghetti. I don't even eat like tomato sauce.
Olive Garden to us has always been like fast food spaghetti. It's the McDonald's of Italian.
I'll see y'all next time, man.
See you, brother.
Keep well, Chris. Nice chatting to you.
And then there were three. There were three.
I don't have the chat on. Hello, y'all.
What up, chat? You guys got anything you want to throw at Hutch and Guardian? You guys got anything you want to say? We got Nomad, Lady Smith, G-Manana, Anthony, Morgan Horde, Gunslinger.
What time is it for you right now? Guardian, what time is it for you? Is it like fucking midnight, 1 o'clock or something like that?
Yeah, spot on, bro. It's like 11:30.
I was wondering that.
Man, with like the way that weeks are these days, I'm just so happy it's weekend. Like I really feel the difference these days. Like it's pretty intense, man. Like I just enjoy the fact of being able to have some free time where I don't have to like be as active as I am during the week.
Right. You get your bike fixed yet? Didn't you say you were trying to find a shop to fix your bike?
Yeah. I did as much wrenching as I could myself, and then like there was just like a bit of a air problem as well, like more of a filter issue. So I just needed to replace filter. So I did that for the most part, but it didn't fix like the electrical issue as well. So then I had like an ignition problem, and then I had to basically like do the rewiring of like the chassis, like for the most part. So like just a full rewiring through the bike, and then I just handed it into the shop because I wasn't gonna like take my whole bike apart outside here and then have to put it back together like that. But for smaller jobs, like I'm always enjoying it, like doing them. You know, it is like one of those things when I was much younger that I just really enjoyed doing. It's just like messing around with some of the dirt bikes that I had, and then just like getting more used to them. You know, it's a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. Yeah, the boy bought his first bike here a couple weeks ago. He's been painting it down in the greenhouse. He's just got a coat of clear to put on it, and it's ready to go back together. But we're about to take that whole thing apart so he can have the experience. I was like, shit. Worst case
Stress,
scenario, you
right.
spend an hour on the side of the road. You know what I mean? You could literally take that whole
Yeah.
fucking bike apart.
Stress the fact of traffic. I'm sure you have already, but it's not like a rider that usually is his fault. It's because people don't see us all the time, right? Like always. Like we can be good riders, we can be aware of what's happening around us, situational awareness, we can have like heightened senses and everything, like, and we need to be extremely observant when we're on a bike. But it's just like if traffic doesn't see you, and obviously it's like a subconscious thing through motorists where they don't like look out for bikes, like they don't even see you because they almost consider you as like a pillar or something, or they don't like see your bike because it's thinner than what a car is, and they're looking subconsciously, they're looking out for cars.
You got them stupid sons of bitches that just hate bikes in general for no fucking reason and try to run people off the fucking road.
Because they're masculine, I think. People get scared of symbols of masculinity like bikes and beards and tattoos and shit. So they see the bike and they're like, oh shit!
Yeah, I've had a car, I had a car for I think 2 months of my life. And outside of that, I've just strictly been on motorcycles. I really just, I live by them, man. Like I have so much, I just can't, in a car and sitting in traffic is like my worst thing ever. Like to have to sit there and to just have to wait for like all of these people to just stop and start again and then stop there and just like sit in a car. And even if you're listening to music or whatever the hell you're doing, it's like absolute agony for me. It like kills me inside. It's just something that I can't deal with. And then having a bike and being able to ride past all of that every single time for the last like 30 years has been fantastic, bro. Fuck that.
That sounds cool. I'd like to get into the bike culture like you guys too.
I've been trying to convince everybody to get a bike. I've been trying to get Hillbilly, Backwoods. Pop B has a bike, but he never rides it because he's a Nancy boy. Yeah. As much as you try to push people toward Warhammer is how I try to push people toward getting a motorcycle. You will never know freedom if you're on a bike by yourself. Rolling down anywhere.
I have to mention there that the two cross each other because my most like favorite part of Warhammer is the chapter that I actually really enjoy, like the specific army, which is the White Scars, and they're all about the motorcycles and like being fast. Like they're actually the biking chapter of the whole 40k universe. So like the fact that they are all about like their whole method of living as well, and they're one of the few chapters that are actually allowed to return to their home world and like foster a regular life, so that they can like be encouraged to fight harder through like warfare and stuff. So that's pretty dope.
Okay.
Yeah, the White Scars are. Whenever you told me, like whenever you talking about the motorcycle, and I remember you had the White Scars as your army, that kind of all started clicking. For sure.
Yeah, it's so sick, bro. Like it's so awesome. Like just bikers from space, man. Like doesn't get cooler than that to me, bro. I fucking love that.
Hutch, how's your army building experience, your lore knowledge going for your extodites?
I have not paid attention to it in probably a month or so because I'm trying to get ready for winter.
Mm-hmm.
It comes in stages on the homestead here in about 2 weeks after the harvest party. Then it'll be officially hibernation season. Then I can start geeking out on random shit.
That'll be the time. That's whenever I got into Warhammer initially, was about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago. About last 2 winters ago, I think. Maybe last winter, I'm not sure. But it put me deep in a rabbit hole. And even out here, I've been so busy out here, I ain't been able to do shit. But when winter comes, it'll be a perfect time.
Like I've probably got about 20 or 30 hours of listening about the brain fart. What am I? The fuck am I?
You're Exodite. You're Eldari. But you're
Eldari.
like,
I got about 20 to 30 hours of listening to Eldari lore. I couldn't name anything, but you know what I mean? I'm building the foundation kind of thing.
There's a couple of channels, like the whole idea behind it as well is to just enjoy it when you do it, like to never feel like compelled to do something like that, and to let the appetite like settle in. Like if you do almost anything where you're not in that certain season at the moment, because life is definitely like seasonal in that way, right? Like then you just will be like you won't really get that much enjoyment out of it. But like it's as you're saying, like there's a lot of YouTube channels that are out there, like Major Kill, Luton. There's a lot of West Hammer. There's a lot of like really good ones that speak about Warhammer and 40K and stuff like that. But like we actually put them, my wife and I, what we'll do is at the end of like a long day or whatever, if we just feel like listening to something as we're falling asleep, like we'll put like one of those Warhammer videos on, and it's just like interesting to listen to, and you can fall asleep whenever, you know. It's just like almost, I don't know, it's a very relaxing kind of thing. And then like with the painting and shit like that as well, there's no way that I can get into the painting with like the little ones around at the moment as well, because like obviously little ones and like painting miniatures, I'm not going to be that person that says, don't touch the collectibles, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So just like keep them out of our sight at the moment, and I haven't been able to paint for like a year and a half because I've got like a little 3-year-old. So like yeah, it's just the whole seasonal thing, man. Like it's just what it is.
Nana, he's got an 1100 cc Honda. I think it's a 2011. So he jumped in with a big boy bike.
So I'm gonna look that up real quick. See, with the thing, my son, he's 5, so I've been trying to get him slowly. There's this game we got called Quest Kids, and we've been kind of painting army men figures, but that's still kind of like it's dangerous. It's dangerous doing so it's kind of gotten to the point where I've kind of put my stuff in a whole separate part of the property.
It's always weird as a grown ass man to tell the kid, like, no, that's dad's toy. Leave it alone.
Exactly, bro.
I know
that shit.
So you really made me think about that, and you said that. I was like, oh, that's something I contemplated the other day. Hell no, I don't want him to break my shit. That's why it's better to hide it. When I feel like he can respect, that's honestly how I got into this. How I got into wargaming, Warhammer, and all that is I was looking up different games to play with my son. Quest Kids is a good game because it has like these 4 miniature. It's kind of like you remember Hero Quest or Dungeon?
Yeah,
it's like way more.
I know of it. I've never played it, but I know of it.
Way simplified version of the game of some shit like that. But I got into all this shit because I was looking at games to play with my son. I didn't know that it would lead me down a path of having shit that I'm like, okay, this shit is cool for me as a grown ass man.
Right.
You know, now did you grow up with it?
No, dude, like I've only been into Warhammer for the last like 5 years. So I actually like stumbled upon it as well in like a certain way. But as soon as I did, and I like opened up to understanding like that this universe is like a sci-fi universe where, and usually I'm not even that big of a fan of sci-fi. I was into like Star Wars a little bit in my younger years for a while, but like as I grew up and stuff as well, I didn't give a damn about any of that. And then I found Warhammer, like, which was this whole weird kind of deep rabbit hole where you can just go down more, and like every faction, every single army that's in the Warhammer universe is the bad guy. So they're all just bad guys. And like I like that concept as well in their own rights, like where it's legitimately just like such an expansive universe. And like the more I found out about it, like I'm like how they've put so much thought into the lore behind that shit, and it's like all it is these stupid little army figures that like have different colors, and like it's like in concept, but then they like expanded upon it for decades and like really went deep into it, and it's so like insane, dude. Like they really made
drew me to it is the fact that it's got 30 years of history, right? 35 or something like it's old as shit, so it's not going anywhere.
No, hell no. They're trying to mess with it. They're trying to mess it up. GW.
So I've been into like a lot of different things, but I've never gotten like a straight. I've mentioned it before with the whole Adeptus Astartes logo, like that I got a tattoo on my right shoulder, like a pretty big piece that was a bit of a cover as well from a previous tattoo that I had there, and it's like. For that purpose alone and for like what it represents, I didn't even like have any hesitation, nor do I have any at the moment about that shit. It's just interesting.
That's how I feel about. I have the Crux Terminatus right here, which is the Emperor had put that on You get that if you're a first company veteran in any Space Marine company. And a lot of people think any of these, the symbols do be a little bit, they draw on the Emperor. So that's in 40K mythology, the Emperor, he's basically existed for as long as the human race has existed. He's drawn on all these symbols. So the lore is all, but that's a 40K is that's what's great about it. It's it is a they're trying to they're trying to do the 40K where they're trying to do it all hobbies that men have, or women could be in it too, but there's not supposed to be male Space Marines because the gene seed is based on the Primarchs were all men.
They're trying to fucking DEI Warhammer.
DEI put women in it, somehow add women to this, even though there are women in the Imperial Guard. There are the Sisters of Silence. There are the Battle Sisters who are badass. They want to put women in space.
Female factions. Like, I'm not opposed to that. There needs to be, I'm not saying representation, but you got to mix it up.
Don't have to all swing in.
Aliens and bugs. You know what I mean? It ain't going to hurt that couple female fucking
There's there's like, so the whole thing is that there's Sisters of Battle, who are their own like faction as well, and the Sisters of Battle are like ridiculously powerful. And then there's not just that, but you get like female Harlequins as part of the Eldari that you're speaking about there, Hutch.
Yeah,
like if you want to, yeah, dude, like the more you find out about Harlequins, like Harlequins are basically like the equivalent of a Adeptus Custodian, which is like for the Imperium, like of man, like that's one of the like most grandest like warriors in the future. And it's just,
they're literally Valkyries.
Yeah, dude, exactly. It's exactly that. Like they're God mode. And it's just interesting to like find out how much like how deep of a rabbit hole that is, because there's also like the Drakari, and if you like, there's more about the Drakari, like the Dark Eldar, and there's just
them. Like love them. They can make a jacket out of your skin and shit, but you like while you're still alive, and they'll eat what's left of you, but they can keep your like consciousness and they can somehow keep you still alive while you're a jacket, and they've mastered the art of Maculae.
I was debating going Dark Elf just so I could, because there'd probably be some pretty badass themes in a Dark Elf fucking deal, but Extradite drew to me. They're literally cavemen.
Yeah, the dinosaurs and all that shit. I'm trying to find this new D&D thing to show you guys. The orcs are basically transgenders.
Extradites officially don't have an army yet because they don't have any power once they leave their planet, because they're connected to the thing like Avatar type shit. But there is, I have been geeking out on it enough to know that there's discussion of a lot of people who are wanting some kind of Extradite, like a wormhole or something put in, or some kind of battery pack, backpack that allows them to transfer that power with them for a certain amount of time off planet kind of thing. That way could you imagine how badass a fucking a goddamn dinosaur, a T-Rex or a raptor action figure would be, like riding it like a horse and shit? That would be so fucking sick.
Especially in space.
Right.
Especially now, see, that's why you might have to get into Age of Sigmar, because they have dinosaur people that ride on dinosaurs.
I don't want to get them confused. That's too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Warhammer is very deep. It's such a.
There's over 500 books. There's over 500 illustrated books that are basically part of the canon in the Black Library, which is like the Warhammer lore series. So there are more than 500 novels that are like written throughout that universe. And it's just like this. That's why I'm saying, like, when you think that it's deep and what I'm speaking about, I cannot overemphasize how like much of a rabbit hole that is. And that's why, like, even though speaking about sci-fi shit, like, makes me almost feel like this awkward sense, like, to a degree, because it's still sci-fi, right? But it's like so much deeper than that. And the thing is that it's something that, like, that's why I can go from speaking about gardening to like motorcycles to like Warhammer shit to like prepping stuff, like all of those type of interests, because they are very, very valuable and interesting. It's just that, like, Warhammer is so incredible of a sci-fi universe that I don't give a shit if I seem like super nerdy. Really don't care.
Hell no. It transcends like sci-fi nerd shit.
You can learn the lore by playing against people. So even if you don't want to read the books and shit, you just want to collect the army and fucking actually play. You can still learn a shit ton of lore just from that. Even that's fun if you don't want to learn. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking forward to the most. I got to get me a 2,000 point army, and I want to play an actual fucking game.
You should also watch the YouTube videos, like from some of the channels that I'm mentioning. Just find one that you like the style of. Like between the 3 that I mentioned there, like you might not like 1 or 2 of them, but like between Major Kill, who's like this Australian guy that like has a really funny sense of humor as well. Major Kill videos. Go to Major Kill's channel and like just scroll through some of them. And that's my top recommendation for like lore videos, because it's just like, I don't know, he's got a more down-to-earth kind of way of illustrating what he's trying to get across. And then there's like Luton 09 and there's Wes Hammer as well. And there's a couple more, obviously, but those are like 3 of the more bigger ones. Definitely check out Major Kill, bro.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to a few, but I couldn't tell you what the names are.
Yeah, then you don't like, dude, like if, I don't know, even within my like day-to-day, like me having the time to read is very rare. So like for the most part, listening to like YouTube videos and just listening to podcasts about shit like that is so much more like informative and on the go for me.
Yeah. See, like I got a thing, like I just got a notification now. Scale Riders. He uses like high quality House of paints, like fucking for like show cars, low riders and shit like that kind of paint. And he uses it on model cars, like that type of shit. And Hot Wheels, stuff like that. People sand down and tear down the Hot Wheels or shit like that. And they put like an actual real high quality paint job on that type of shit. I love that.
We've been doing Gaslands over here. I got the book recently where you add guns to the cars and shit and like roll the dice on that.
What is that? How does that work?
I'll send you some more. Gaslands is dope. That's kind of like Mad Max, but you do death races. You can do excursions out in the wasteland. It's very similar to Warhammer, with the cost a lot less money, and the rules are a little bit. But it's. I'll show you a match here in a second. Let me stay on this top. Let's stay on the Gasland, because I was going to show you guys the gay D&D shit and see what y'all thought about that. This is what they're trying to do to everything that anybody likes. You have all the monsters and all the creatures just hanging out. I have all my Gasland shit in my house right now, where I would.
I've never played D&D or WoW.
D&D, I've had fun with D&D. I've known
about it for fucking decades, but I've just never played them.
This is shit. Whenever the older I get, the more I have. A lot of people get into this shit when they're younger, but I haven't gotten into this shit until like recently.
On what we can shoot, but I thought I might try to shoot some shorter, no frills, low budget videos. Terrain.
See, and then you have your war rigs, and each thing. You know how your units in Warhammer have their different stats and abilities and equipment options. It's the same. You can't just load up these cars with guns and stuff like that, because they use cans versus using points. He gets this. I use a lot of my Warhammer bits I had left over, but like you can use. I had like 2 leftover broken vapes that I used to make a cannon for this shit. Yeah, Gaslands is worth getting into. I feel like y'all would definitely be into it for sure. And it's definitely I'm not afraid to, I let my son, I let him mess with these ones since it's the Hot Wheels. But you do the death races, and the position of your guns and stuff like that will also, like if someone's behind you and your gun faces forward, you can't just shoot at them behind you. But no, Gaslands is definitely yeah, but it's sorry. Yeah, but I feel like it's It's better than smoking crack.
Dude, like realistically, if you look at the Mad Max movies, like if you like look at some of the older version of Mad Max movies, and it's along the same lines, where it comes to like if shit really did get real for a while, like they'd have to like, you know, people would, even if it is a CW that occurred, wherever you are, like that type of thing, when everything's like wasted for a while, people will kind of take scraps together and start trying to rebuild society. And then you will get people, because you don't have the rule of law, and it could fall back to like a Mad Max kind of scenario in real life. Like that's why like there's a bit of credence to that. Like I think that, and even the more modern Mad Max movies, I don't know if you've watched them, but like just as theatrical like kind of movie pieces, they were pretty good to watch. I wouldn't watch them twice. Like I'm not you know, I'm not in a rush to watch them again, but like watching them just once over, like is such a sick experience because of like the fact that it's just so like raw chaos, and like using machinery like that together, and like just having some sort of like dystopian reality, because I also enjoy like apocalyptic movies and shit like that, obviously, right? And then yeah, somebody over here is like was mentioning, yeah, it was Gma with Mad Max, and also Book of Eli, which is also good. Book of Eli was also a pretty interesting movie.
Like, if we didn't have like the EPA and all these fucking car regulations in America, I think we would see a lot of that random shit. Because I keep getting little shorts from I don't know where the fuck it's at, but it's in Africa somewhere. And these people are making like 2x4 motorcycles and putting a little fucking lawnmower engine on that bitch, and they're driving like full-blown wooden choppers around. Like they're just throwing scrap wood together, making a fucking bike out of it. You know what I mean? It's fucking badass.
That is badass. That's point A to point B for sure.
Yeah, they also make these bikes where they like out of wood. They also make these bikes where they go down like these insane hills, and like they go really, really far. Like sometimes transporting different like fruits and stuff, like around the regions, like through these like wooden bikes that they make. It's very cool. Like it's very ingenuitive.
That's why I like Africa so much, because they're the most innovative people on the fucking planet, and they don't get the recognition for it. Like they come up with some crazy fucking shit. Especially like that one cat in Africa who just figured out how to make or I guess a while back he figured out how to make like plastic bricks and plastic fuel and shit. So he's pretty much taking care of his own little neighborhood with recycled fucking products and shit like that.
It's a jungle here, bro. It's a jungle more than people think in some ways. Like it's very wild and untamed. There's a lot of wild and untamed area. Like if you take a plane, like an aircraft from one city to another, like and pretty much cross, even if it's just half the country, like from the right in the southern tip to like the most western tip as well. Like if you take a plane over that area, like you see how much there is that's just completely jungle and like untamed area. And then you look at some of the stories that come across of some of like the cryptoids that are out here and stuff like that. If you really want to get into like that type of thing, like there's a lot of untamed land and a lot of like unexplainable stuff that happens out there, and there's a lot of people that are very fearful of certain animals for certain reasons, and like there's just so much to it. So yeah, it is a very much untamed continent in some ways. Like, and then South Africa, even though it's like built up in almost first/third world to some degree, like there's still so much crazy shit. And like if you travel around from like city to city and you go on the ground, like when I take the Transalp, the XL700, the Honda, like if I go like travel across any area, because I love traveling on the bike, right? And I also enjoy solo riding. So like I'll travel quite far by my ace and stuff. And like just sometimes camping in like the dead of like the forest as well along some of the roads. You take like a little farm road or something, and like there's just absolutely nothing nearby you. And the stars come out so much more brighter because there's no light pollution. So like there's a ton of like beautiful like elements to being able to see like nature in that way. And just that feeling, that like insane feeling of being alone and completely like you feel so like naked in a way, because there's no buildings around you, no city lights, there's nothing. And it's just that like raw feeling. And I think that the fact that people live out there as well, and they've got these stories of there's a couple of strange things that happen in this country, like, and when you are coming into any city and you're coming in from like the wilderness, you feel the experience of coming into like civilization from this like crazy untamed world. And yeah, it's rather interesting as a country. But you guys have so much cool shit too. Like everywhere in the world that you go, there's always like these insane places that you can go to. Like for you guys, there's so many different climates, like microclimates all across the United States. You guys have these like massive deserts, and then you've got these mountainous regions and like these super built up cities. And it's crazy. Like the Florida, like jungles, like there's just so much.
We don't have any like giant predators though. I mean, we got bears, we got cats, but you know what I mean.
They're starting to pop up in places they thought they was extinct too. They've been seeing more black bears in Louisiana and black cats around all over the U.S.
Yeah, them cats are getting out of control over here, and
people still refuse to believe that these big black cats are real, even though they're being seen videotaped all the time. They're like, no, that's somebody's dog. No, it just ate somebody's dog.
that's how I was. Like the local news had showed a video, 2 counties over, a big ass fucking mountain lion, probably 120 pounds or so, just decided to walk down the middle of Main Street, small town Missouri, and just sat literally on the yellow line in the middle of downtown, and was just looking at people and shit. It was right at sunset.
I'd be scared of that for sure. Versus, yeah, the bears mess around with people around here quite a bit, but they never really try to just attack you like that because they're the black bears. But I feel like mountain lion, that's sketched out.
I'm not worried about bear. Yeah, black bear. I would love to catch a fucking black bear cub and raise it to be my puppy. But yeah, I don't want cats. Cats do not give a shit.
Have you seen a full male, fully adult male baboon running across a field before? Like, if you want to be scared shitless of any animals, look at like a whole big troop of baboons crossing like any sort of field, because I've seen that a whole bunch of times. And there's nothing more scary in nature than seeing a whole troop mobilize, and the way that they run together. And because they've got long fur, you see the long fur almost like happening in almost like a symmetry, and you know that they're extraordinarily powerful creatures. Baboons will mess your shit up, bro. Like, no matter how strong you think you are, like a baboon, absolutely, when they're confronted and when they're cornered, they've got ridiculous claws, and they can also like use their fangs. They're one of the most dangerous creatures out there, like when it comes to them being like captured at all. Baboons are something else, man. I'm telling you, when they move like with so much power, bro.
Yeah, those things are freaky looking.
Look how big they are too. God.
In an SHTF, we'd have to deal with that. Like, people don't realize what we'd actually have to deal with when it comes to it. But baboons, like, the more that you watch baboon footage, you'll be like, wow, man, like these are something else. And it's got the intelligence and the strength and the agility of a monkey, but it's got the power of like a big cat. So they'll outsmart you, and they'll hunt you, and you won't know that they're there, and they'll like stalk you for a long time. Like it's crazy what they do, bro.
I've heard stories in some places, the ones that live by dumpsters or like in like trash places, they'll like get puppies and raise them up kind of like as guard dogs and like parts.
Yeah, dude.
To use against. Yeah.
They're smart like that, bro. They're very smart like that, and they hold like. They definitely, if you offend them, like they hold resentment, dude. Like they definitely hold on to like that spirit of revenge and that. And not only that, but like just as in terms of the capability and the reason why they're such good fighters is because their like fur is so thick and like so long. So you get an alpha, and they've got like almost like a mane. It's crazy. Like I swear to you, there's nothing more fearsome in nature.
Yeah, I think I've seen the thing where it says they always hunt in packs, and they go for the toes, the fingers, the face, and the genitals are the first thing they attack.
You go for your extremities. I would not want to be here in the middle of this.
Chimpanzees too. They freak me out. That's fucking.
Some of these chimps are fucking. They stand up to be close to like fucking. They're like 5'8" when they stand up, and they're like fucking 200-300 pounds.
You give me a little capuchin monkey or a little spider monkey, I can fuck with that. Other than that, monkeys, those things are fucking dangerous.
No, capuchin.
Yeah, have you heard the audio of the person that got attacked by the chimpanzee? That lady that got like attacked in that. There's an audio on YouTube. I don't recommend you play it now, like obviously on the stream or whatever. But I'm just saying that there is audio out there. So if you listen to like the story of the lady where she gets attacked and she's on the phone, and like you can hear in the background of like what really happened in that, and that's like so graphic, bro. Just from like an audio piece, it's ridiculous.
They're making a movie. It's a slasher movie. It's about a chimpanzee that gets possessed by a demon.
I think you could have made that movie without it being possessed. Just like
that's what I was thinking too. I would have had a better, exactly like a better message.
There was a series that I was so excited for. It was called Zoo, right? And it was about like an SHTF where the animals just get smarter. But then they ruined it like in one of the like side, and then they'll wait for like one of the troop members to be isolated, and then they'll attack them again. Like it's crazy. It's really something to be like worried about, bro. And then in SHTF, if we don't have fuel for our vehicles, or we don't have like electricity or lights or anything, slowly but surely, like the natural world around here will start encroaching on our cities. And we know this, like as a prep, like it's something where that shit happens, bro. And look at them there, like
look at this gangster right here. Look at this stud.
Now that running full speed, like across a field, all of that fur, like just starts looking like a lion's mane, like running along the whole body of a animal. Instead of it just being a lion that's running and the mane moving like that, like it's the whole body that is a mane. And then when you fight it, you can't get through that shit, bro.
Continent that doesn't really have too much of a connection, but it's growing though. They want to kind of like do some, like, it's gonna sound retarded, but this is some shit that was out in the news last year. It was like you're saying, the northwestern place up there. It was where a lot of villagers were seeing things like they were saying they'd see like goblins and spirits that they were familiar with in their culture, and it was all over the news. Even police officers are saying they were seeing them. It was also at the same time CIA operatives were captured in the Congo as well.
That's the problem with old school cultures dealing with modernity. Is like America, for instance. You could take a drone and put on a little light show like China does, you know, with making the dragons and all the shit in the sky with the lights, all that crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's like that little island off of India where they take bows and arrows and, you know, all that type of shit.
Senegalese.
Yeah. You could literally implement a religion with a couple drones on some places on this planet. That's crazy.
Dude, I could absolutely see that happening because they're not used to any of the technology and they wouldn't understand it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, like the people that made the statues of the airplane gods from the U.S. soldiers over in Pacific Ocean. What the hell? You ever heard about that shit, y'all? Because they would drop food down to them and stuff, and these islanders created like statues made out of airplanes.
Yeah.
I'm not even
like
familiar with
World War II.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that happened, but I haven't heard of that before. That's rather interesting as well.
Let me see. I'm gonna send you like I'm gonna email you some shit about it too, but I'm gonna show you all this shit. Tana Island was what it was called.
You got to figure the Wright brothers never actually considered how they would affect every culture on the planet by being allowing man to fly. You know what I mean? Especially at times like there's still cultures on this planet right now who have no idea that man can fly. You know what I mean?
Hence why they think it's maybe that's why they think it's like some kind of dragon.
How much of the population could remake an airplane engine and an airplane if we lost all the information and if we lost the specific people that are currently creating them? Like how many people could rebuild computers or televisions, or like just even, you know, the basic combustion engine. Like not many people actually know that. Like it's surprising.
It would take tens of thousands of years of different generations growing old and learning shit. But then you would have different dark ages where they wouldn't allow technological advance and we'd lose info and we'd have to get it back again. So like the last couple of resets that's a theory that I've had about that. This is one of their little god. They made this as like an honor to the US airplanes. Let me see. I can't show all the pictures and shit though, because a lot of these have naked villagers in it. But
I gotta go do some shit. I might be back after a while. Good day.
All right, brother. Peace out. I might have to head out here in a second too. I know it's probably late for you over there right now yourself, Guardian, huh?
Yeah, it's just past midnight. It works out perfectly that I'm gonna head out as well. I'm just gonna do like a short patrol around the area and then probably watch something with the lady.
All right, yeah, I gotta do me some stuff around the house too. We're getting stuff done, dude. Sorry, I had a little technical difficulty, but yeah, it was great talking to you again, dude. Good. Yeah. Everything go great with what you're doing, dude. Talk to you again, man.
Yeah, chat to you soon. Thanks, Pilgrim. I appreciate it, bro. Good to speak to you as well. Keep well.
Chat. Peace. Yeah, we'll do this again. Who knows? Maybe we'll do something again later tonight. I don't know. Maybe do some work stream. I don't know. But we'll be back, y'all. It's always cool talking with these guys, for sure. But I know this one that sometimes we'll be doing these streams be 5 or 6 hours. You know, doing a 3-hour stream, we had a good conversation. We'd be doing this shit for 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Wait, we can't end it like this yet. Wait, I gotta hold up. Oh, let me. Don't nobody go yet, because we gotta do the old little song.
Hips up, hold down, next gonna give it to you. Pilgrim, take you on a ride inside. Got Chris and Gracious chillin'. Hutch in the back while smoking on a fatty. Mr. Brian yelling, baby, dropping knowledge on the show. Hips up, hold down. Hips up, hold down in the chill zone. Hips up, hold down in the chill zone. Hips up, hold down in the chill zone.